I can't ever learn to use my glasses. Oh, I don't wear them all the time. Oh, it's just wearing glasses.
Maybe he's not gonna make it tonight. Her babysitter, her husband's out of town, babysitter canceled. But she will be at the gala. All right, I'm going to, I just was reading this note, now guys, I'm gonna convene the meeting, and declare a quorum, since we have 6 of our 7 trustees. And yes. So, you recording? Good?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna open it up for public comment. If any members of the public left. Anyone ever on the online would like to speak during public comment? You have 3 minutes. No one's unmuted. Okay, I see no one speaking for public comment. So we're going to continue on and close public comment. And we're going to consider the approval of the meeting minutes from August 19th, our regular meeting, and August 24th, our retreat. So
I had a couple of suggestions for changes. One, for the retreat minutes, can we label it retreat minutes? Because it's minutes of the meeting of the board, but can we please?
It's noted under the type of meeting. It says retreat.
Yeah, I just wondered if,
In the title, would you like it?
yeah, just because it just distinguishes it, I think if anybody was looking for our retreat minutes. But then the other piece I was looking for, and I can't recall if the discussion, I saw it when I was reading these things online, but I can't find it now, but it was the reference to JLF. Was it in the retreat minutes that we talked about that, or was it in the meeting minutes? Of the previous meeting. I
think we talked about it at the last meeting.
So was it at the retreat? But I
No,
thought-
at the 19th.
Okay, so I was looking for the reference of that because I had changed it, but I'm not seeing the right page, I guess. And I didn't mark it.
JLF. Maybe it was in the retreat.
There's in item 9,
Item
is the
9.
reference to downsizing that you know.
Yeah, where's that page? Which page?
It's under item 9, I don't know what page it is. It would be in the regular
It's on
meeting
page
minutes.
5.
Item,
It's page 5.
But yeah, second, Duran asked for details around the downsizing on page 5.
Yeah, that's it.
JLF.
Okay, so there, I think it's important to reference, because I don't know if David said it there or said it after, but the funding commitment that was made to them, I would like to see that added in here.
from the library.
Yeah,
For this year's festival?
yeah,
What was it?
It was $35,000.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that was. Yeah, so I think, I don't know if you mentioned it there, but somewhere along the way, but I just think it fits there because it was important. And then somewhat related to that is that I think that we need to make sure we have a logo that has the district name, and all the logo stuff on all the branding of the JLF stuff was just library, and there's no reference to district in that logo. So if we could change or see that our logo is appropriately the district logo when it's used in the marketing, I think that's really important.
Well, it's correct, we don't have a logo.
But don't we just have the word district? Don't we have district there?
Yeah, well, we have a font. Then we print the
Okay.
word Boulder Public Library District and that's it. We don't have a logo per se. We've talked about the need for one perhaps in the 2026 plan. We'll look at that when we have it.
Okay,
The official name of the library district is Boulder Public Library District.
yeah, but
But
what,
it's oftentimes referred to as Boulder Public Library,
yeah,
Boulder Library,
yeah,
a lot of different things we don't have an official logo.
yeah. But I guess in their collection of logos of sponsors,
It's a-
that's where I wanted to see district, not just Boulder Public Library.
Absolutely. We have a graphic designer, you just started
Yeah.
last week.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna do the district logo.
There you go.
I mean, because I feel like on the website, it kind of looks a certain way, like I sort of felt like that was maybe the logo, but I think it only says Boulder Public Library. Yeah, so just, yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a good
I just wanna see the word district there and the acknowledgement of that. When people see that sponsorship, because it's the taxpayers that are funding this, right? That's the district.
The district, yeah.
Yeah,
Some of those city of Boulder people get credit for our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay, thank you. So
so,
there-
can we get a motion with, as amended, the one amendment would be, the adding of the JLR contribution of $35,000 to the minutes. And then, can we get a motion to approve both the meeting minutes for the 19th and the 24th?
That's amended.
Second,
Okay, all in favor of approving them, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Kara, Patty, do you wanna lead through this next part or?
well, we got summer of
we have
discovery,
one more.
sorry. So it's our summer of discovery folks. We don't want them to have to wade through like budget stuff.
Yeah, what fun is that? But you can't.
You wanna be here another hour? It'll be dark out there.
Okay, I'll see if I can get my screen share here.
And can you share for the folks online? I don't know.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay,
Okay,
It definitely says Boulder Public Library.
oh yeah, there's the logo.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's what you mean.
no,
That's what I know.
Yeah, it means
Yeah.
district.
So, good afternoon.
Introduce yourselves. Cassie Westbrook is the head of youth services. Jason is the teen librarian.
One of two team librarians, here. Jessica.
And we were co-chairs for the first time this year on the Summer of Discovery program. So we're excited to share just some stats and highlights from Summer of Discovery 2025. Thanks so much for having us.
So the Summer of Discovery this year, well, I should say in years past, the summer reading program for youth and teens has existed for many years here at BPL. And then in 2019, changed it to Summer of Discovery to have the adult participation component. And then this year, we redesigned the program in several ways to include points for reading and activities. And then we also had a brand new look created, which the one on the right here is the butterfly against the flat irons. That was one of them. And then our other one we had was the camping one with the tent and the telescope.
Yes, so we got rebranding and we also changed the point system. So we were trying to simplify the challenge. This year, all participants were required to earn 500 points, no matter their age. So it was the same across the board, whereas in years past, it was different amounts of reading minutes for different age groups. And it was kind of a challenge to communicate that to our patrons. So we're simplifying it. They could earn points by reading, doing activities, or a combination of both. So you could do only reading, or you could mix the two up, or only activities if you so choose. One activity earned you 50 points, 50 minutes of reading earned you 50 points. And then we also added a grand prize drawing. If folks wanted to go a little bit above and beyond, they could enter up to 3 times by earning additional 100 points, 100 points, 100 points.
Andy has won a tote bag, and I have never won anything, so.
I
Didn't you win from the winter one?
No.
Oh, man, I thought that was you.
So it hasn't won anything.
Never mind, we both never won anything.
I wish I'd won a tote bag.
It wasn't the one with the tote bag. Oh, I think it was Andy France. Sorry.
Yeah. I have like a million tote bags, I'll bring you one.
Another Andy. Sorry.
So as Cassie said, in years past, we did have various reading groups. We've had up to 4 in the past. But this year we divided it into 2, so where it's just pre-readers age 0 to 5, and then basically everybody else, the readers. So on the left, we also had new reading logs this year. The left is the children's one, and the right is the adult. And with the adult one, they could write and they could shade in each cloud basically as they went along. And then we also had activities for children. We also had other activities in the program booklet for children. There was word search, connect the
coloring
dots,
sheet.
coloring sheet.
Empty book list.
Yeah, and then they could also use Beanstack, which is our basically an electronic platform to log their reading as well.
And for prizes, the prizes were mostly same this year as in previous years. So for pre-readers, kids and teens, everybody who signs up gets a free book. And for adults, you receive a free entry to the Parks and Rec facility to go to the reservoir, et cetera. And then for completion,
Most useful Scottish phrase ever.
use the challenge, earns a coupon for free ice cream at Cold Stone and a
Cornelia Blas, I disagree enough.
You,
It is not warm and sunny.
I don't think they know they're talking.
Yeah.
They're unmuted. Okay, go ahead.
And for our prizes, the new portion of them this year, we did a surprise registration perk with the Colorado Rapids, a buy one, get one free ticket to the Rapids. We had 88 redemptions of those by mid-July already. And we extended the prize pickup window by 2 weeks this year because that's been a pain point for staff and patrons in the past. And the extension basically also better reflects our customer service philosophy.
What's a pain point?
Just a challenge for staff. People would come in after the deadline and say, can I still, redeem for my prizes? And we just say no, and so we just extended it that extra 2 weeks, and that made everybody a lot happier. Patrons, staff, just went a lot smoother overall. And we also had different grand prizes this year. So we changed the prizes away from devices, electronic things, screens, based on patron feedback.
So for the grand prizes, we went with experiential prizes this year. And there was one winner for each age group. So for pre-readers, the winner got a Strider bike. You can see in the picture up there on the right. And it has a little rocker in case the winner is extra little, but it can come off of there. For kids and teens, gift card for a cooking class at the Food Lab. And for adults, a gift card for a class at Colorado Glassworks. And the idea with the gift cards was that they had enough on there so that the winner could bring a friend with them to the class. And we have our child winner over here on the right with her.
Yeah, they got a 2.
I wanna see what the glass people think.
So for our outreach to DVSD, for our end of school year, we had 41 school visits and 2 class tours. We reached 3,750 students, and we actually completed 23 more visits this year than last year, and reached 1,421 more students than last year. And for the Summer of Learning, which is BVSD's summer school program, this takes place at 2 elementary schools, Creekside and Columbine. And we had 4 visits to them and reached 553 students.
So, some of the kids might be in like Niwot Elementary or in the district, and some of the schools outside of the city, Boulder, BVSD. Do you do any mountain towns like Gold? I know that Netherlands not really in our district, but I don't know if there's any schools in the mountain
The one
regions.
school I know of that I learned of recently, isn't it Gold Hill?
Yes, but there's only like 25 students there, so
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure it's that big.
yeah, and they might be closing it, but yeah, I think like, I don't know, you know, I do know like Niwot would be one school that's not in BBSD that I think a portion of our district is in,
Okay,
from Gun Barrel,
okay, yeah.
north of Lookout.
Yeah, I think with Gun Barrel, we'll probably expand a little bit more.
Yeah, for summer learning.
For
Or
the outreach
school
program, yeah.
Outreach program?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we should definitely check that out. We have a list and divide up all the schools between the locations based on location, but, yeah, so I guess.
do you sign them up for the program during, or is it just, here it's coming?
For when we're at the school, we just promote
Okay.
it, yeah,
Okay.
we don't sign them up. Actually, the program itself doesn't start technically until June 1st. We have like pre-registration starting on May 1st, so folks could pre-register, but we don't actually, it's not rolling when they're still in school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And do you just focus on elementary schools?
we do all ages, yeah, high school, middle school, elementary. This is a shot of our bean stack participation stats. So we have 2025 on here and 2024, and then divided by pre-readers and readers. So in green, you can see our 2025 total registrations and 2025 total completions were increased overall over 2024, and we have that percentage on the next slide. But we were really excited to see, how many more folks registered for the program and then also completed the program.
are the years switched on there?
No,
So you had,
so we had
Look
fewer,
at the bottom lines.
oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
we had fewer minutes read this year, which is probably due to the fact that we changed the challenge so that folks would earn points for
Right,
both
right.
like reading and activities. And then the activities completed number is kind of skewed, because in the 2024 challenge, for pre-readers, we expected them to complete double the amount of activities than we did this year. So that kind of like artificially boosted the activities completed for 2024 versus 2025.
And then these are our participation stats. We sent out a survey post-program. And we actually got a pretty good response from people. I think it was in the 70s. And overall, we saw an 18% increase in registrations and a 30% increase in completions over 2024. We had a 7% increase in completion rate this year over last year, with a rate of 55.6%. And then by extending the price pickup deadline, we logged an additional 74 registrations and 115 completions during those last 2 weeks of August 1st to 14th.
For programs, we had 114 programs tagged as Summer of Discovery this summer. And this year, we had no ball online, so that was exciting. First full summer of Discovery. Gun Barrel also hosted some events, mostly outdoors, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the fire
The
truck
fire
on the top
truck,
right
yeah.
is.
And then this year, the maker spaces, both of them also hosted programs tagged as Summer of Discovery. And yes, so we have fire truck, the
You had goats too, I
raptors,
thought.
there was goats, yes, goats, raptors came to Reynolds and Maine. We had an author visit from Tiffany Hannon to speak about her children's book. And this is from the, I think, was it the kickoff party
The
at
colored
Reynolds?
chalk,
Yeah,
not chalk,
It's not
as Shannon
chalk,
was strong to emphasize, like colored powder.
powder.
Yeah. And then for evaluation, we found that 64% of the survey respondents had a positive response to the new point system, which we were really glad to hear. 42% had never previously participated. And then anecdotally, patrons were happy to have that extra time to collect the prizes after the program ended. Some patrons did report frustration with the Beanstack app and interface, which we're thinking about some other possibilities with that next year. That seems to crop up every year a little bit, so.
So 42% were new participants.
Of those who filled out the survey, yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty amazing, actually. That's really good. But, you know, I wonder, you know, with going to schools and signing people up when you're there, but also, that might kill our books, because we can not, maybe they have to come to the library to get a book, but, and then having it start June 1st, because school gets out like the 23rd, so there's that week where usually people aren't traveling, and then people June, you know, it's kind of like, I always wonder why you delay between sort of the end of school and the start the program that week, because I feel like you might get more folks to sign up, or, you know, because they're around town, engaged.
Yeah, that's an interesting point,
I don't know,
yeah.
that's just from a parent's perspective.
Like,
'Cause I sit around for a week and before my kids can start volunteering at the library. You'll notice that I'm trying to do things with my children.
Completely selfless.
Everybody else for a friend.
So, but yeah, I think, it might help with, you know, just that 1 week. Cause you know, kids are off that week, they come to the library. And then they might go on vacation, and then they forget about, you know, whatever, they get a bunch of books at the beginning of summer, that kind of stuff.
No, it's an interesting question.
Something to think about, for sure. Never thought about that before.
I've seen other summer reading programs that start at the end of this, like
I don't
right at the end of the
think
school
I
year.
have.
I haven't,
I
but
think it's just like that traditional June 1st, but it's
Yeah.
definitely
yeah,
something
Brooklyn,
that, you know.
that was,
Well, like in the East Coast, you know, school doesn't get out until or Northeast, like, you know, mid-June, so
it's
all
true.
those kids are,
Yeah, some of the other charter schools or other
they go a
private
little bit
schools,
longer.
later. One of the things I wondered about is presenting the program at a school board meeting. You know, and speaking there and being able to, you know, sort of amplify what you're doing to a larger audience there that might be paying attention.
That's a great idea,
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I know BBSD does send out, like, I think in their newsletter, like blurbs
Yeah.
for us, but I think
Yeah,
for
but if you
many
had
other
a
things,
presence and spoke during their public comment about your program and
yeah,
kickoff time and whatever the schedule is
I think
in May or something like that, that'd be kind of cool.
that'd be a nice way to.
Yeah.
To,
I picked up that idea at CalCon, so just
Aha.
credit for that.
Yeah, we need
Go to where the audience is and, yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna do that with our budget too. Somebody's gonna go.
It can be tricky to get kids to tell their parents about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking notes on all of this. So this slide and the next slide, these were comments pulled from the survey results. And it was nice, actually, a lot of people spent time like writing like thoughtful feedback. So we thought we would just kind of leave these up for a couple minutes, so y'all can read or skim over them.
And are most of these readers, are they reading hard copy or are they reading from their phones or what would you say, like, you know, in some of these responses?
That's a good question. We didn't ask that question in the survey of like, do you prefer audiobooks or are you reading ebooks or?
What are your
Or paper
observations?
I think it's a mix. I feel like it's audiobook and probably physical mainly. I don't see a lot of kids in the library with e-readers. I don't really hear kids talking about e-readers, so I feel like it's physical and audiobooks. I think there's a stigma sometimes for kids. A lot of times they think that audiobooks, that adults think that that's not reading. And so, and I know some parents are like that. And so with kids, like, no, that's definitely still reading. Like audiobooks
It
are counted.
counts.
Yeah.
Is that something that's, because I didn't even think, I mean, I don't have children, so maybe I just haven't noticed it, but I mean, how long have kids been like using audiobooks in that way? Has that been years and years? I mean, I'm just asking generally, sorry, you may not know the answer to that.
My kids are 13 and 15, and I think we started playing audiobooks for them probably when they were 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
So-
Road trips.
Road trip, yeah, exactly.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do audiobooks as a kid, but once I was out of like picture books, right?
Yeah.
Because then you
Yeah.
picture, but
Yeah, my kids started out with CDs and then now they listen on their phones.
I listened on tapes.
Well,
Cassette tape.
Cassette tapes, yeah.
Okay, got it.
In general, consumption of library materials, Anita, our digital collection now is 40% of all of our work. Of that, only about 15% of it is youth materials. So 85% of the digital materials that are circulating are adult books. That doesn't mean that kids are reading adult books, it's just, but it's only about 15%, which is still high. That's double what it was 5 years ago.
That's cool. And I like that, getting out to different libraries, that last comment there, that's
Oh, yes,
neat to see.
that was nice to see. Yeah, so definitely a lot of positive feedback. We had some, comments about BeanStack. And some folks said they wish they had used the paper log version because their kids, it's just easier if you wanna color in the sheet. But yeah, we were pleased to have feedback and
Did those women get points for putting that puzzle together?
she could, yes,
Okay.
counted as activity,
That's right.
absolutely. That was the puzzle making competition, I
Right.
think.
And one of the people
Yeah.
in that had just won, I think it just won the national
Really?
puzzle competition.
And she lives here in
that
Boulder?
event, yeah.
Oh, we should
Yeah.
find her.
I think it might be the woman in the back right there,
Huh.
possibly.
Huh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember
Wow.
seeing that on Teams, that she just won the national puzzle competition and now she was here.
Is that like a speed?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We should
Wait,
like give her a puzzle and film her doing it like over, and then we can I don't know, play some message in the background. I don't know if you ever watched those
Yeah.
TikTok videos of just
Well, I
people
haven't watched that, but.
assembling things and then there's somebody talking and telling a story in the background.
There's a movie, there's a film about a woman.
Anyway,
Like a
Yeah.
relaxation thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she goes to all these competitions
Yeah.
all over the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to eat 13-year-old. All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Any other questions
yeah.
for, I think it's great. I mean, this is bread and butter library stuff. And definitely want people to use this program. I mean, they should give adults the gateway tickets, but
Yeah, they do, yeah, you get gateway tickets.
so.
You have to earn them.
So,
And I like that you use local vendors and suppliers and.
Beanstack was weird. It wasn't as easy this year as it was last year. I don't know what they did.
I wonder,
Yeah,
So I don't know what,
yeah, it's something to look into, maybe partially because the challenge was changed, or it just works a little differently since it's logging.
it didn't automatically load what the challenges were. It was
Okay.
a little strange. And you had to kind of navigate around in there. That's what I remember.
Okay, yeah, that's good feedback.
Even from the other side of putting the challenges together every time, it's like it doesn't stick in my brain. I have to go back and read how to do it. It's not.
Not very intuitive for,
Intuitive. Yeah.
Okay.
It's tricky on both sides, I feel.
It was easy last year and then this year it was a little harder.
Hmm.
In my
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome to stay, but you may not.
You're welcome not to as well.
Oh, but I appreciate that, thank you.
You wanna do the budget adjustment first?
So I was gonna say, I don't have much to report.
Okay, we'll do that.
Other than the things that are like separate items regarding the budget issues.
Okay, you wanna do your?
Unless Amy has anything to remember from our meeting, because I think our meeting we were talking about.
The interesting stuff's the 2026 budget more so than
Right, but I was gonna say, like, I think there's two others, it's the 2026 budget, but then there's the adjustment pieces. And those were really the things that came out of our discussion this month with the finance committee, so I don't really have anything separate to report.
I only had a question about the $99,000 appropriate, accounts receivable, but I didn't know if we knew what that was.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that didn't, that was just like.
Which, where?
We have in,
Yeah.
and as revenue on line,
Yeah.
page 12,
Yeah, that's right.
We're trying to figure out what that.
total cash equivalents, accounts receivable net was 99,317. I didn't know if that was maybe a refund of something or, okay,
I don't know.
okay, well,
We can look at that, we'll tell you about that.
Yeah.
Next.
yeah, didn't know we collected money, so.
Well, we do collect money, for sales and things like that.
Yeah, but would that lead to one account receivable? I think you have that under cafe or something, or maybe you put it under accounts.
Well, yeah, that would be it. I don't know that that's one transaction there.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Let's see if I can get into the detail.
So does anyone have any questions about the adjustments to the budget for 2025? This is a standard procedure, we do have to go through this every year. I mean, we are narrowing it, down. Last year, the adjustment was more significant because we were really kind of learning the way things go. We still are in 2025, but it's all basically accounting stuff. That will make the auditor happy. The big adjustment is for adjusting the monies that were expended for work done in 2024, but payment didn't occur until January of 2025, and then the auditor has then readjust that money so that it shows up in the money where the labor was actually done, not the year in which we actually spent it. But if there's no further questions on that,
And that's the 833,000.
it's a large chunk of
Yeah,
change.
and then there's 161,000 removed from the operating budget. And puts it into 159,000 grants, okay.
There's a grant adjustment as well.
What that $99,000 is a series of probably 45 different transactions where we take money in from the treasurer, from our partner libraries that share in the cost of our overdrive system. And then those monies are moved out into other accounts. And so the balance that's in that accounts receivable is the $99,000.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, any questions on the budget adjustment?
So I just had one. And I see the IT support number was lower because you shifted it up to cover the IT consultants. But
What page are you on, can you?
I'm on page 15,
Okay,
right? And so what I'm trying to figure out is that, so we're showing this increase in expense in purchase services and lessening it on IT support, but there's the same amount of money in here, so I'm just, like if we're moving that $163,000, does that really mean that our purchase services difference was like $500,000 up there? See what I'm saying? So
I'm not sure.
Which line are you
for
looking at?
purchase services right now, we overspent by $378,000, right? In the IT line, we underspent the IT budget by 163,000. But it says it's because that money got moved up to pay the cost of the IT consultant in the purchase service line. So my question is the overexpenditure in purchase services really 378?
No.
Or does it also include what was in this IT?
So he also
look at
has communications
difference,
consultant in it
That's
and
like around
security
500, so I'm guessing
and
that is-
cleaning contract.
Oh,
Yeah, you see the difference in those two?
right.
Yeah,
So I'm looking, okay. Well, this is, where are you looking?
wait,
So when I'm
It's
looking
in
on
purchase
this line, it's
services.
Yeah.
showing 378, right?
right,
And this
Oh, I guess
163 is
that's right.
left.
yeah,
And
no,
it says here, with that underspending here is
Mhm.
because we moved money up here.
right, so, yeah, I
So
see.
what I'm just trying to figure out,
Mhm.
how much were we overdone by the IT consultant?
I don't have that exact number. That line item has all purchase services in it. The bulk of the change was due to that IT cost, but I don't know exactly how much of it was.
We can look that up for you, Tom.
Yeah, well, I'm just, like, it just caught my attention here. It seems like in another meeting, we were having a conversation about this challenge with the IT consulting. So,
And we will be bringing, that contract expires next year, we'll be bringing that back, and that's one that we're talking to the firm. We hire a firm that does all of our network and security management. And that includes the network management on every single PC. So if we add 40 employees now on the computer, the cost goes up per computer. And then there was a purchase that was made this year as a request of the programming team for all the branches wanted to have extra computers for programming things because they can upload software and do programs on different stuff. That led to an unexpected cost, which I know the IT team probably realized it as soon as they made the purchase, but that resulted in it results in the amount of money that we're paying to the IT consultant feels like it's too much. And by the contract, we can't really adjust it because the contract is based on how many computers we have. We need to have a conversation with staff about whether or not a tablet would do, because we don't pay. If we just say bought a tablet, which they can upload game software to or something like that, it may have offset the cost. That's something we probably should have done. We didn't, and so we resulted in a lot of costs for the IT consultant, which we did talk about the retreat, the IT consultants.
That's what I thought. Okay. All right, thank you.
Is there a more complete way to identify like IT support? So if it doesn't include, now I get it, like the purchase, IT consulting time or services aren't in IT support, right? Those go under purchase services? And yet
Yeah, I
you
mean,
would
we can
think,
move them there.
yet you would think IT support would be consulting services, instead of purchase services. Just a thought, but the one piece that bothers me is the, sort of seems like an editorial comment, the more than ample software budget. I don't know, it just sort of seems,
We had more budgeted there than we needed.
yeah, but it's, yeah,
I
It's like a
think
phrase that
one of
might
the disconnects
catch
is,
people in the wrong way.
I think on the disconnect a little bit is the purchase services. We had broken that out in the 2025 budget by of those, at least by we broke out security. Cause I think 900,000 of purchase services of the 1636 is security, 9 something.
For
And
twenty
then-
twenty-five?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 2025, and so so that's 650K or something that was for the IT support. I think I think our annual maintenance was like 300K or something.
Our budget for security this year is $830,000.
In 25. And so half of the 636 was security.
Correct.
And then, so we had broken that out.
And there's custodial services at $350,000.
Yeah, So
Then there
then,
was a communications consultant, which was a small amount of money.
that was like
like-
3,000 or something,
No, more
No,
than that,
more
but
than that.
not hundreds of thousands.
yeah. And then the rest would be whatever this IT,
So IT consultants started with a $650,000 budget, and as of the time I ran this, which was September 2nd, it looks like, we had spent $738,000 directly to the consultants. That doesn't include the hardware purchase that lands in capital.
for that, and that's for 2020, that's not even finishing out 2025,
Correct.
so you're,
So I'm adding enough to get us to the end of the year
Year.
based on the projections I get per month costs.
but that's not part of the resolution to change the budget. Or is it just say change it as opposed to, as amended and described in exhibit A, this exhibit A?
So we're not appropriating funds, we're just moving money around to cover expenses, and the reason why is if this is only year 2, and we don't have a full year of expenses when we budgeted, so we're off in some places. Next year's budget will be closer, and
Yeah, okay. It would help to break those out, I think, to see what we're spending on the purchase services. At least for security, cleaning and IT, yeah. And grants,
Yeah, it's such a big category, I just wonder about separating out some of those.
well, we did separate it out when we did the budget
Oh, so
discussion.
when there's other
Okay.
versions of this, we get all that detail, it's
Yeah.
just this version of this is less
Okay.
detailed.
Well, my point is, for me at least, is that present it in the same way as we presented the 2025 budget, so that we can, at least in my mind, I can compare apples to apples. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
if we broke something out, let's break it out again, you know what I mean, so that I know. Cause I'm just going off of memory. So. Do we feel comfortable approving this resolution to amend the 2025 budget? There's a copy of that in your
Yeah.
packet.
I move adoption of resolution to amend 2025 budget items as discussed.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor of amending the budget as described by the motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. You a notary? Oh, yeah. Okay. So it needs to be notarized, so. Anyway, I gave this to Andy.
Wait, it needs to be notarized.
It doesn't need it, I don't think it needs to be notarized.
Because they were
There was a
trying to
notary on
find
the back,
notarized.
but Kevin can tell us if they did it wrong. Okay, the next item up for is the draft 2026 budget. So before we start this, this is just a draft. Make comments. They have to present the full budget by our next meeting by October 15th. And then our meeting will be the 21st of October. And then we can either set a budget hearing for the 21st of October, or we can set it for, I believe it's the 19th, the third week in November. We have to set the public budget hearing and publish the budget for, I believe, is it 30 days, Kim? I don't know if Kim is, but.
Yes, it is. You have
So
to
we
have,
would-
you have to have
So,
the draft budget available for review for 30 days before the hearing.
okay, so then that then we have no choice. So the 21st, we can't set the budget hearing. We'll set the budget hearing on the 19th. And when we publish the budget, at the 21st, October 21st meeting. So
And then we start in November.
whatever the third Tuesday is of October, I should just say the third Tuesday of October and the third Tuesday of November.
Yep.
So, the official budget will be due, this is a draft, official budget will be due the 15th. We'll go over it third Tuesday in October, and then we'll set the public hearing and publish the budget after that meeting, and have the public hearing on the third Tuesday in November.
Which is we'll also vote to finalize it.
And we'll also vote to finalize it.
And sorry, we have to have.
We can make changes.
We have to have the budget available by the public for 30 days prior to actually adopting it,
Correct.
because there's not 30 days between the third Tuesday of October and the third Tuesday.
How many days is there?
I don't know, but the third
Well,
Tuesday of October is the
I mean, we're gonna
21st.
publish it on the 15th.
So
Alright.
So we'll publish it before the October meeting, but then we can't change it.
I think we can change
No.
it.
Yeah, yeah, the idea is, we can publish that it's available in whatever draft is available. And then 30 days after that, you'll have your public hearing, hear what people have to say about it, and then you can adopt it anytime after you've had that hearing.
And if we make changes to it during those 30 days, Kim, does that reset any of the clocks?
Yep, that's just fine. It does not reset the clock.
Okay.
That was a confusing answer.
Yes, but we got
But
it.
you got it, you got it.
We got it.
So, okay, so, our budget hearing will be the third, Tuesday in November. And we'll get a final sort of look. And hopefully we'll have all the great presentations like you did last year. So I thought that was really nice.
Does the draft we're putting out tonight, doesn't count?
It can, if you want, we can publish the notice for the third Tuesday in November, right, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then your 30 days, you've got that well covered. And then you just have to have drafts available for people to review at the district office.
Okay, David or
Alright,
Jennifer?
well,
Or Jennifer?
you have a long memo, there's quite a lot of background information, I thought, since, we're all kind of new to the district, just to explain how the assessment works. And then, the theme from the retreat, and most of the staff is like, we are in a good financial position. And yet, we are faced with a flat budget really for the next 2 years, and we don't know what happens after those 2 years. So essentially, we will be operating on the same budget. By the end of 2027, we will have had the same budget for 4 years in a row, and hopefully then we'll see it move up, but there's no guarantee of that. So from the August retreat, we got after the August retreat, I think a week later, we got the letter from the auditor showing that the actual value of property available for tax was generates $300,000 less in revenue. It should, as we go through the budget and where some of the things, we made some changes from the draft budget that we talked about in August, based on your feedback at that meeting. We weren't voting at the retreat, but based on the feedback that we received, especially around security guards at the branch libraries, we put that into the recommended budget that we put in front of you. We put those reductions and filled those into the recommended budget, which saved about $280,000, $300,000 roughly. It offset the difference. We were able to get to a balanced budget by accepting your recommendation. Now, I realize only 3 of you said it. You obviously have to have more than 3 of you to have total consensus, but 3 people at the retreat indicated that was the direction that they thought we should go. So that we did fold that into the budget once we realized that $300,000. We did ask the staff again for a second round of reductions and received
quite a number of suggestions, some of which are folded in as well to your to the recommended budget we're putting forward tonight. I think the primary reductions that were accepted that got us to roughly $500,000 less than what we showed you at the retreat. There was the programs department takes a haircut. I can't remember precisely what percent. I think it's about 8% reduction in the program budget. The sub budget is divided among various departments, both public services and outreach, recommended reducing their substitute budget. And so those were also accepted and folded into the recommended budget. And then with the reduction in the security guards and some software reductions, we arrived at what we're looking at today. There were a lot of other little bits here and there that are folded into the recommendations. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But that was substantively, that was it. So we have a balanced budget that we're putting in front of you tonight. It was requested at the retreat that we have at least another $1 million of things to consider. We have put a list of things at the end of the memo, the cost of certain things. It is not our recommendation that you cut any of those, but obviously that's the point of this, the request, I think, was so that you could have a discussion of it and we could talk about what the impact of any of those reductions would be. There are several things in that recommended list that you considered at the retreat and said, well, no, I don't really think so. But since you weren't voting, we put them back in, like benefits for the cleaning contractors. That's back in there as a, this is something you could consider to reduce the budget. At the retreat, it was, I don't know if it was a consensus, but there were at least 3 people who said, no, we don't want to do that. But it's back in front of you tonight as a possible thing for a reduction if you wanted to go further than the $500,000 that we reduced since the retreat. The reason it's serious is because we don't know what happens in 2028. That's the big part of it, is we don't really know what happens. I don't know if you're a betting person. The memo kind of talks about like it's the first time in 50 years really that the overall property values available to us in taxable income has gone down in the district. That may mean to you like, oh, it's gonna switch back and it'll be another 50 years before it happens again, or it may be like, oh my God, now we're starting out on a 50-year cycle of flat or reduced taxes. I don't know what that means. I don't intend to, after I reread it, I thought like, am I leading them to think like this is never gonna, that 2028 everything's gonna be fine. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea what happens in 2028. By our current projections, if we were to maintain the course as we are right now, and revenues were to remain flat in 2028, we would be fine for 2028. We would likely be fine for 2029. By the time we got to 2030, if we were not seeing a profound increase, we would probably have to pull from reserves a little bit in 2029 just to make operational expenses. So maybe that means some slight reductions by 2029, but it's nothing profound, barring any HVAC system breaking or a building getting flooded or something like that. We're in an okay spot up until 2029. By 2030, by the calculations, you are seriously dipping into your reserve monies in order to pay operational costs. And I don't think sitting here right now, any of us think that's a good idea. We're not touching any reserves in 2026 budget, and I don't believe we will have savings in 2025. We don't have an idea exactly how much, somewhat less than $1 million, somewhere less than $1 million, more than 700,000, less than $1 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, we'll have savings in 2025. In 2026, we project about $200,000 in savings, although that can be eaten up by one broken HVAC. And by 2028, there is no savings, right? By 2029, we're straight into it. So that's kind of why it's serious, and it's also serious because, as we discussed with City Council, we're going into a planning session. I think I've heard pretty loud for the last 2 years that the board and the library, and we'll hear from the community, that they would like to do something about Meadows. Doing something about Meadows is going to require money, whether we stay in the same spot or not. We have to be able to add some benefits to that building. The same is true of Carnegie, right? There will be cost associated with Carnegie. Whether we stay in the same building or not, we'll have to rent out offsite storage if we plan to continue to expand the archive. So there are costs associated with doing nothing, as well as doing something. And I think from last year's retreat and this most recent retreat, there is an idea that we've discussed about doing a lot of things. The big costly one is really Meadows Carnegie, right? It's that Meadows Carnegie equation that we don't have a projection for, we don't have a plan for, we haven't talked to the community about yet. There's a lot of stuff we need to do, and yet we all realize that, like, oh my gosh, that's gonna cost money right now. That is not obvious. So that's why it's serious, but it's not imminent. We don't have, like I said, we don't have. I'm ready to end my part and throw it open for discussion. Happy to entertain any of these, the things that are on your list. So I mean, first of all, for the budget. The budget is a balanced budget with about $200,000 in savings. That $200,000 projected savings would go back into your capital reserves at the end of the year, or in whatever place you guys chose to put them. And we would be starting over in a 2027 budget next July, with mostly all the same things intact. There are a number of things on your list. Some of them are staff benefits. Some of them are benefits to contractors. Some of them are service related. So like the reduction in public computers, right? That is a, small savings. The data that we have does indicate that we could probably reduce the public computing somewhat. We haven't done that work yet to communicate that to the community, even to the branch managers and the staff as to why that data shows that, like, you have 7 computers and they have a 14 or 20% occupancy rate, and we can go down. So that's some work that we have to do. I think it's probably something we'll do through the course of 2026 and the rest of 2025 when we get doing that work. There's a couple of one-time projects on the list as well that are budgeted next year. Those are one-time expenses. Those are not things that we carry over. We can easily defer them. We could say, like, the Virgin Literacy Program project funding, that $100,000 that is in your budget is, based on getting a match from the foundation for somewhat $100,000. If the foundation doesn't get $100,000, we're probably not going to spend $100,000 anyway, so it might be something that's just hanging there and it turns out to be savings anyway, if the foundation doesn't raise $100,000 to match. The first floor renovation concept plan, something that you wait till 2027. It can also be done now. It doesn't mean that we're going to spend $500,000 to renovate the first floor. It's just really the concept plan. And then the last part where it really gets, Jennifer went through and put a rough, pretty accurate price tag associated with a lot of the services that the library provides. Some of which I would argue are core services of the public library, others perhaps not. There are lots of libraries in the state of Colorado that don't have a cafe. There are lots of libraries in the state of Colorado actually that don't have a theater. There are lots of libraries that have makerspace. There's lots of libraries that exist, next door that don't have some of these things. Some of them I would argue, like the archive and Boulder and stuff like that, those are critical core services and it's not like anybody else is going to pick it up. And so if those are things that we wanted to talk about, we'll have to discuss about what the impact of not having it is. I'm ready to turn it over.
Yeah, I think, I want to ask the question to Kim first. And then I think the best way to attack this is go through this, if anybody has questions on page 29, and, specific line items or whatever, and then we'll go into sort of a discussion of these questions. Let's see, does the board have any questions before staff regarding additional reduction? So I think we would just go through, my recommendation would be go through these steps. I think that's kind of how I looked at it. And that will give, this is kind of a working meeting, I think, in that regard. Kim, so HB 241001, that reduced our assessment rate from in 25 from 6 point whatever, it's gonna be 6.25, 6.15 to it was 6.7 down to 6. As I understand it, in 26 that goes back to 6.7. Like how do you see? I would. It'd be nice for, I don't know if your firm has looked at it or other libraries, like, year over year, I think we have an automatic raise in our revenue, but I know in 24, they had like a $55,000 homestead. Does that come through? Do you have any understanding of the impact assessment of revenues 25 and 26?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you a memo on all that because it's very confusing. The last 2 years, 2 years ago, they passed some legislation, then they overrode it the next year. Right now, your probably biggest potential constraint is the 10.5% over 2 year increase in revenues. I don't know if you're obviously not seeing that because you're seeing a reduction. So, and the assessment rate that you're talking about is for the residential properties.
Correct.
That was going to go back up, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure where we are now with the mix of different statutes. But I can get that to you before the next meeting so that you have it.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I'm sure that would also be helpful from your other districts. Because like, I've been pestering David because, every dollar matters, right? So like, if we're actually gonna be up to 300,000 in revenue, we're planning to be down, we're gonna make decisions that affect programs and all that stuff. So I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. And then, and I think that the impact of that bill is just now before. So I looked at our 23 total taxable assessed value for real property in the district, and it was $6.5 billion. And I looked at it with the assessment letter that we got from the assessor this year, and it was $6.126 billion. So an almost $400 million delta in assessed value to properties in our district, which results in $1.4 million reduction in how much money we have, which is significant. And so if my numbers, are right, so that just to say that the result of that bill reduced library funding in Boulder significantly. So
Yeah, instead of going up in 2026 as we anticipated in the modeling by $1.1 million, instead we're going down $300,000.
But I don't know that we would want to assume that will revert, given the political climate. It seems like with the legislator, it's not going to allow that to revert.
To 6.7 again? Yeah, I don't know.
They'll view it as a tax raise.
Yeah. So, that's true. So remember, in 26 are collected in 27. So this is really 25. Everything's collected in arrears. So, I don't know. They could change it again.
But the point is, this budget does not assume that will change.
No. And that's,
if it changes,
if we can tell them that, right now, the money we have is the money we have and the money we're gonna spend, so, but we're trying to make decisions, and that's what this step 4 is, or whatever, on, because right now, we're gonna probably put $1 million into our capital fund at the end of the year, in 2025. So we have about $1 million we'll carry over into our capital fund, which comes off, it's not part of our budget, but I don't wanna go and say, cut $1 million, and now we've overcut. You see what I'm saying? Because if you see what I'm saying, it's very difficult to, and we're dealing with the margin here of $1 million either way, and so we kind of have to put under budget and build our budget on a lower number that we can guarantee. And I think we're gonna have to have, you know, if they don't let it revert, and we stick at 20, then we're gonna have to pull some levers. You know,
Yeah, I think the way I'm thinking about it is, yes, it's a balanced budget for now, it's a little bit better, it's a balanced budget with 200 grand to spare. But it's not a budget that would sustain us doing any kind of capital work, right? Right, there is no new Meadows Library in this budget, hell, there's not even a Meadows Library after the current lease expires in this budget, right? Because that lease is free right now, so that cost is almost certainly going to go up, right? So,
right,
again, like, it's a fine budget for next year, but what I'm trying to avoid is we don't wanna wind up in a situation 2 years from now where we're cutting 10% of staff because we have a cliff coming up that we didn't gradually slow toward.
right.
Now, the flip side of that is you're right. We could wind up with extra money, in which case we've underspent, and we have extra money in the capital reserve, which maybe isn't the worst thing in the world.
But even,
But it means we didn't do everything we could have done in the prior years as a result, and there's an opportunity cost there. But I think that's what we kind of need, that's the philosophical question for me, is basically how much headroom do we want to start building into the budgets now in anticipation of capital projects 2, 3, 4 years from now.
And so we're gonna have 2.5 million in reserves, we'll have 3 million in our capital reserve, we'll put another million there, 4 million. And what's the number for Meadows? We're gonna, I think what David and I said, and this is why it was important to have this discussion with the council, is that if we're gonna have to probably borrow against the mill levy if you wanna build any significant type facility for Meadows, right?
So we still assume $1 million a year in debt service.
Maybe,
Rough.
I mean, well, that's.
So either way, it's a much bigger loan with the $200,000 of space we have in the budget, right?
Yeah, I mean, just to renovate gun barrel, it was 2 million, so, I mean, we won't have to buy a new sorter, I don't think. Oh, we'll have to buy a new sorter eventually as some of these roll out, but I think but yeah, the projects are more expensive than we planned, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if all of a sudden we get to 2028, I guess, and we have an extra $1 million in the budget because property taxes are back to going up another 5%, or because the legislator lets the assessment rate goes back up, and our life becomes easy again. Our life was pretty easy the first 2 years of budgeting the district. We realistically had a lot more money than we ever actually projected during the district campaign.
Right.
And we spent it all. So, which isn't a bad thing, we spent it on good
Well, we
things.
accelerated.
We did, we did many things well.
We
But
accelerated the plan.
we're now at the point where we need to start to think about how do we get to a budget that could sustain $1 million in debt service a year within the next 2 years?
Yeah.
And even considering a scenario where property taxes potentially don't change for the next half decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about the conversation we had at the retreat about the rich employee benefits and how we were incredibly generous, I believe, in what we structured then. And I was hearing, David talk about some of these, the things that are on the list here. But the way that it's now presented, it doesn't look as, like the use of whatever this program is, the
clinic.
Yeah. And I don't know, I think we should look at some of the stuff just.
Yeah, I think we will. Okay, let's,
Seriously.
that was just a philosophical, let's go to the actual budget now, and we'll get to that in a second, I think, going on page 29, I'll just open the floor up to comments on,
And just a couple of clarifying questions, Jennifer. One, so none of the actual BLF grants are included in this budget at all, right? We basically budgeted those separately. Okay.
Yeah, separate.
And then, and this isn't gonna be super long, but I noticed we have this note about bonus pay reduced. Could you just give me the 1-minute primer on how our bonuses even work and what that means in practice?
The allowance was reduced, not what people get. So we started out with had no idea what to expect, so I think we started out with $150,000 or $200,000. And it's now reduced to $50,000. The first year we gave out, I don't remember what the dollar amount is, I could look it up. But I think we spent like half of that.
Is this like we give all the staff a blanket bonus, or is this like we're doing bonuses for specific people for specific?
No, you have to be recommended for getting a bonus, and it has to be above and beyond your normal work or a big project you work on. Like, we've given bonuses for like Novo Library Playground, the person that managed that had a bonus. All the way down to like shelvers get bonuses for smaller, and there's a tiered system that HR has set up. So supervisor nominates a person for the bonus, they provide a description, then the HR team, including the EDI coordinator, reviews those submissions, and they determine whether or not it's eligible for a bonus. And then there is a criteria, like different levels of bonus, and they assign it a level. And then Adriana and I review the list and the assignments and discuss if we have any difference of opinions. And then those are awarded. First year we did it quarterly. This year we are doing it twice. We just did the first round and we spent about $24,000. So I anticipate that 50 will be just fine for the next few years. That we could even do less than that if we wanted to.
Even with cutting $150K out of that budget, that doesn't necessarily mean we're changing the number of bonuses we're giving out next year, or the total amount we're paying staff in bonuses.
And the number will change. It just depends on what we have.
Right, but it's not like we've been giving staff bonuses for years, and next year we're not giving them a bonus or something like that.
We minimally did it with the city. That was a program that was fairly inactive. The workplace committee of the board, I have 9 board members here anymore, but they had, it was an initiative that they really began. They wanted it to be a robust rewards and recognition program. And, and I think it's a great idea. I think the idea was one more in line with a corporate environment wherein people receive large bonuses for having done some amazing thing. And I'm not sure I'm not sure that there's not a cultural divide. Like, a lot of the work that we do here is somewhat egalitarian. A lot of people do a lot of different things. There's a lot of cross tasks. It's difficult for some work groups to achieve even recognition for a bonus. And so it was both the idea of like employee of the month and on one end of the spectrum, and then also like corporate bonuses where people get like $500 million. And I think they wanted, I believe Jen and Sam really wanted it to have some teeth. And I believe we've achieved that to some extent with much less money. It's not people aren't receiving like $3,000 bonuses for something. They might get 500% on 50, or in some cases they might get $2,000 bonus, but that's for a project that they led over 8 months that wasn't really in their job description, right? Like, so it's not there is still like it's a good program. It's still in its early stages, and I think we're figuring it out as we go. I think we.
And you said 24,000 is max limit?
Yeah.
I think we gave out 10 to 13 bonuses.
The first
Half of the year.
The workplace committee, we set aside $200,000 for this. Like, seems like a lot. We never get close.
Plus,
So are we gonna go back to your premise that we're gonna start going?
Yeah, we're on the sheet, that he was
Okay.
taking
Those are
that.
my main questions. Well, you mentioned this earlier, David, but it sounds like we're eliminating the hotspot program. Do you happen to know
We're phasing it
the
out.
usage numbers for that?
I don't, no, it's, there are fewer than 20 of them in Zurich, I think right now. The loss rate for many of them is.
And then what's just because I'm curious, what's the smart cities thing that is kind of the one time?
Yeah, this is a one-time expense. It is a program, Smart Cities that has started on a program, Library Challenge, and so the neighboring library did get the challenge, and so it's exciting. It's a way of you know, the project itself is one, we'll be sitting here watching, where the costs associated with one-time actually member of the Smart Cities group and potentially have a challenge accepted for Boulder Public Library would be a bigger cost, but it is, in this case, it's around technology, you write a problem statement, a bunch of different groups, companies bid on how to solve that problem statement, and you're given access to those different tools and seeing about the application of them. In the case of the Arapahoe Library District, it just recently was selected as a challenge. It's to partially bring forward, as you walk through the door, all of the technological capabilities that the library has within a short, like in that 30 feet, that you can have a grasp of all the different things that are available to you at the library, which we've struggled with, you know, marketing a lot of the things that we do, and that, so it's an interesting idea. It's fascinating idea. There have been other challenges that have been accepted in the past in terms of like, you know, how people use a building, right? There's data, people that are out there in terms of figuring out like, do you come in and go to the tea area and stay for 1 hour? Do you come in and go to the cafe and stay for 4? Do you turn left? Do you turn right? There's a lot of technological applications that could give us good data on what our users are.
Those are my questions.
Okay. I think presenting it this way is more difficult to read than the way it was presented last year. Mainly because I think in the slideshow was like personnel was like I wanna see like the head count numbers and what 25 and 26 head count numbers will be. We had it broke out by the different we broke out each of these things in the expenditures. I think we definitely need to break out sort of the purchase services. And then, because like when you tell me these are one-time expenses and these are ongoing, there's only one ongoing, but I would like to tie it to a line item in the two different things.
You'd like to tie the one time to a line item?
Yeah, like what, I mean, where you said this is a, here's, you know, well, furniture, like you don't need to show me that, like I know that'll be in like but like at least with personnel, you had it broken out by salaries and maybe bonuses and then wages, and that'd be nice to see what we're spending on each thing.
Do you just care about that? You care about staffing that department?
Well, we did had a slide on staffing, total staffing and staffing by department.
Are you wanting people or FTE?
Full-time and I don't care if people full-time.
No, it's a different number.
Whatever we, is it different number? Whatever full-time equivalent number,
Okay.
I think that would be,
Yep.
I think that's what we did last time.
Yep.
Because one person working 2 hours is, I think, I mean, that presentation you did last year, I think was really good, right? And it would just be doing that again.
Sure,
And then we broke,
absolutely do that.
and with the pie charts and stuff, it
Mhm.
was nice. You know, we're taking, you know, I think under building costs, I think we need to look at, you know,
There's almost no building spending in this budget.
well, it says that we didn't need to spend as much.
Oh, you mean the ongoing building costs, not the capital outlay costs?
Yeah. We budgeted 1.36 and we spent 1, but that doesn't include personnel. You know what I mean? And that's,
Doesn't, no.
So,
You want that line items for that?
no, because we're not breaking it, I wouldn't think we're not breaking that out in the personnel thing. If we're putting all personnel in personnel, so I wouldn't do it for other, you know, specific categories.
No, my question was, do you want like utilities, water, trash, all that broken out for building costs and utilities?
I think you just do utilities, then equipment,
What's the functional decision you're trying to make? Because I don't think we're not gonna pay for the trash.
no, I get that. But I don't think we broke it out that much on the building costs. But we did for the purchase services. You can go back and look, because I think those were the categories that were important to us last year. And I think that would be helpful.
I can do an identical breakout, I just didn't do it for this meeting because this was
Yeah, no, I get it,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I guess the only way, what we did last year was fine. I would just say we probably want to focus our attention on the places where we actually have decisions to make.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of cases too, especially when we're getting down to line items, I mean, I know we break out board governance because we're trying to hold ourselves accountable, but $1,000 line item is not necessarily worthy of a breakout. I mean, I would argue anything less than 6 figures is like questionably worthy of a breakout, but.
No, I get that. I think what we were, especially for the purchase services, trying to show is what we're spending on security, what we're spending on IT, I think.
Yeah, having the big categories, I agree, that's all.
Yeah, I think I still think, is there an opportunity to rebid the IT stuff this year, or,
To bring the cost down, we're gonna try.
Yeah, okay.
To rebid the contract, the contract, to break the contract.
Okay, there's no way out of the contract, okay.
There's always a way out of the contract.
There's always a way out of
Depends
the
on how
contract.
aggressive you want.
That's why we have Kim.
No, but
If you want to learn from Elon Musk, you can get out of the contract.
I don't wanna do it that way.
Usually the answer is you pay the value of the contract.
Right,
So-
right.
So
No,
you
I know
find the
that.
lawyer to find the one part of the contract that
Where
they
they're
can
in
read
breach, or
carefully
so they're
and
not.
not breach,
Right,
which
so-
is the Elon approach.
Yeah.
Everyone's always in breach.
Somewhere, yeah.
I'm not sure I know exactly what you're saying, but I think I have a general idea of what the comparison is. So the budget is nearly identical to last year's budget with some slight modifications. Those slight modifications, in some cases, are just, we know better where to put the money in advance of spending.
Okay,
Now, there are some reductions, right? So there is a 2.5 FTE headcount reduction. One of those was a decision we made this year for a half-time position, and the other two are jobs that we never filled. We approved last year, I never filled them because I was concerned about the money, right? So we never filled those jobs, and we were wondering about what they could actually do for us, right? So there's, again, it's very slight in the overall scheme of things where I think we probably have a headcount of 150, 160 FTE. So it's down by roughly 2.5. The other big adjustments in the budget are like we're reducing those contracts, right? So the security contract, which is roughly $800,000 to $900,000, is going down by $300,000. Roughly $300,000 of the security contract is being taken out. The IT contract is staying intact. I hope to be able to adjust along the way with some stuff, but that's not a guarantee. We can get out, and the cleaning contract is also slightly reduced by a small amount based on efficiencies we have found with the day porter service that we don't need the cleaning crew for certain things.
okay,
The rest of the budget is more or less the same. There's a $3.5 million difference in terms of capital and one-time investment. That's because we're not doing gun barrel and fixing roofs and fixing all these things. But there's still nearly $1 million in one-time investment. Some of them, I think, there's 175,000 of which you can just say like, don't do it, I'll wait till next year. There are some of them that we can't say that to. There's a lease of servers for $183,000 that's for the next 3 years. We can't just not do it. I mean, that's a one-time expense that we have to make. If we come to the point where that's money we don't have, we'll have to cut it somewhere else. There's $200,000 we don't have, we'll have to cut it somewhere else, but we have to have those servers in order to run the business.
right,
But the budget is not remarkably different than what you saw last year, substantially. That's it. I mean, there are minor changes here and there. The sub-budget has been reduced slightly. We're getting rid of some expensive software equipment that the team has decided we don't need. Adobe Creative Suite, our project management software. We'll find something that costs.
This was internal Adobe Creative Suite or public facing?
Public facing.
okay, the other, the 178,000 in program and events, is pretty significant, and events are,
That's
what,
all programs and events, so it includes literacy and outreach programs and events as well.
and,
It's all rolled up in there.
I mean, but is it gonna be a reduction, I mean, we're gonna have less events, that's I'm guessing, right?
One book, one Boulder, we do every other year, we do fund it,
So
we
it's
do
not in
fund
this
it.
year, yeah.
It wouldn't be in this, well, we're electing not to fund it for this year,
Okay.
as a result of the recommendation from that team.
Yeah,
No, and we don't do it every other year, and so by cutting next year's budget, we're not gonna do it in 2027. Because, part of that money gets paid the year before.
cause it happens in like February.
I'm just thinking how successful
Yeah.
it has grown to be. Why,
Yeah,
why-
that was one of the questions.
Yeah.
Like, it seems to me that's a, an out-facing community project that we said to everybody, hey, participate. I don't know another one that's different.
Yeah.
There's a gala in a different way.
that's the
But that's a very
foundation's thing.
specific thing, and that's the foundation. And so I was a little, I wanted to understand why we would push that off. It can't be that expensive.
We were trying to get to $500,000 that you asked for in third tree.
So how much are we saving by skipping?
Probably
30,000.
Yeah.
We could add it back in, it would reduce the amount of savings that you have. You could probably make up the difference by saying we change the cleaning contract and we don't pay benefits for.
I do think there's a philosophical argument we need to ask ourselves here too, which is, do we wanna line item manage the budget for every program, or do we wanna give David a pile of money and let him decide what the best spending across the programs is?
I think things that are symbolic of what the library is, and I think that program is, something we ought to have a say. Do I want a line item? Yes, Dave's decision about the IT stuff, no. I raised that question, because I was confused by things in the spreadsheet, so, yeah, I mean, I think I don't feel like, David, you can speak to this, but we're micromanaging these things.
No, this is exactly the kind of feedback that we were hoping to get tonight, honestly, like this is it.
I mean, there's a list of programs back here, so.
And I would just say that, just back to the benefits, I think because we did have that responsibility of this body to shape that initial package, I do think we have a responsibility to see what tweaks need to be made to, for sustainability, right, and long-term.
Again, just, you had a hugely successful thing. I was here, missed it. We were talking about it earlier.
It was great, yeah.
To push it off,
I would like to put that back in, to be
yeah,
honest
to
with
the
you.
point in the future that the public's gonna lose the memory of the last good one.
Yeah.
But I think every time we do that,
Then we gotta take something out.
yeah,
I
what's
get
there's an opportunity cost there, so
Yeah.
do we wanna stop all the benefits for janitors?
I mean, I think,
Yes, that's the problem.
But
Well,
that's-
we'll get to that, we're gonna make these decisions separately.
Right, but like, it's always easy to say like that, and I think we should only do that when we have something else we already know we wanna take out.
Well, I have.
Well, I mean, again, these are the recommendations come, I guess you're part of the finance, committee, the recommendations, so I would say back. Find them, you come back to us and tell us where you wanna find $30,000. But this is a program that's important to the community.
And they probably feel like it's the district and they help fund us, and why aren't we doing it every year?
Well, we're still not gonna do it every year, but every other year, but I think.
Why would we do it every year?
Well, we just don't have the money now,
It'll
but
cost us $30,000 every year.
Yeah.
It's a big program.
it's also a lot of work,
Yeah, like every other year has been the routine, so I get that, that's.
yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, it's something that we did try to do one every year and the returns were much lower, and so then we shifted every other year, we got good returns. That was kind of and it sort of makes sense to me to do it every other year. A lot of things that came through on the list of recommended guys, like, there's something you're not even looking at, cause like, I just said, Boulder Reads recommended a bunch of things. I was just like, no way, I'm not even considering it, but that, if you guys wanted to bring it up, they're on the list of things like, hey, you can consider this, but, we're just really getting started, and I'm not comfortable with saying like, that's a program that we need to start nipping talking cutting their supply budget and their this budget and that budget. Story time came forward as a cut from the staff. Let's do a story time. We just saw it, like it's on the list here because.
Summer reading or story time?
Summer reading came forward, right? Like as a thing, like we got summer reading, it saves $60,000 in some staff time. Like all of the things are there that the staff brought forward. I didn't say price out. When the staff brought forward ideas, we price everything out. And some things are in front of you tonight, some are not. Summer discovery is on the list. Like there's money associated with that. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well,
That's
this
not
for
saying
the utilization numbers and stuff are helpful here, right? Because ultimately you're looking at where are these programs getting used and where are they not? Because look at the makerspaces. We know we have a wait list that's 5 times as long as the class size. We could cut another program, double the number of makerspace size classes, but it's like we have to make those decisions, right? Someone is going to be unhappy with anything we cut.
Well, I think, I mean, I don't wanna get to makerspace specifics, but yeah, it's a balanced budget. So you could take from one pot and put in another. I think that's the kind of direction that the staff needs, like, hey, we wanna focus on community events that draw a lot of people. And maybe less on smaller events that don't really pull people. I think those are the kind of programs I think, or that really engage the community. I'm saying my own thing. I mean, that's my own preferences. But I think we want to hear that from you if you have another.
Yeah, so I apologize, right? So a lot of the things that are on your list, we don't have good metrics for, right? Computer use is something that I've been tracking for a decade, right? I know it's in decline, probably post-pandemic, it's better to characterize as a free fall. Like people don't come to the library using computer very much. It's not something we worked that problem through heavily with the staff to help them understand that they don't need to have. We opened Nova with 3 computers. It's been fine. We haven't had any complaints. Nobody said, can you have 5 more? Can you have 3 more? The branches have more than that, sometimes twice as many. But it's one of the things that we need to unpack through the course of this next year. But that's true of all of them, right? Like so, one book, one Boulder, the metric that we use, and I'm not saying this is a great metric, but we use cost per participant, right? So what is the cost of doing this program per participant? And so for, like when you look at Summer Discovery, you've got 5,000 kids participating, program costs $60,000. So you're spending about what, $12, $13 a kid. One book, one Boulder is more than double that, right? So we didn't have 1,000 people, the program cost 30,000. You're spending around, we had about 700 people participating in the program. So you're talking $35 a participant. And so that's not a great metric. Obviously, it doesn't account for people in the district feel good about it, or it's a community program and everybody feels great about it. It's the only metric we have, right? And so it shouldn't, I apologize if we don't have better. We are working on it. And I'm glad we had that conversation at the retreat. We need to have better metrics for all of our programs. And they're all slightly different, but having that understanding, I think, would give you a better opportunity to compare, apples to oranges, because that's ultimately what we're doing. The story time doesn't cost much. And it has like almost half of all of our program attendance are story time. Right, and the cost is negligible, even coming, I don't even know how much if I came up with $12,000, but, or whatever you get up with, but it's like, or $70,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's half of our program participants overall every year. And so that wouldn't be a wise one to get rid of, if we use simply that metric. We put it on the list because we're trying to give you $1 million worth of stuff to look at.
Okay, and this is really helpful, I will say, like, I appreciate this. Again, maybe we don't have the data, a 4th column here that is annual number of participants, and again, it's possibly not the data, but stuff like that, would be a nice thing to have.
So we've done that, I'm just trying to structure this discussion, so we looked at page 29, making comments on that. We talked about, I think, there's consensus to keep one book, one Boulder, so we can find 50K somewhere else or 40K somewhere else. Nadine joined us. So, thank you.
Hi,
Hello. We're on page, we were on page 29 now.
thank
we're
you.
on-
I was just searching for what page we were on.
Now we're on page 23, so, one question I had in your thing is, you said if the 2024 carried over and are removed from the equation, the total 2025 budget was 22 million, 0782828. Is that including, I guess, library grant, like with, because here you're showing 21,437.
Entrance income,
Oh, interest income, okay.
sales,
Okay,
sales,
okay, book sales, all that.
printing, copying.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard with this carryover. Cause it throws everything off, okay. So we're probably gonna have a budget surplus this year that goes in the fund. How much do you think?
Less than $1 million, more than 700,000, I can't be more specific than that right now.
So that'll add to the 5.4. And then, now we're gonna go to step 1 of the analysis. Expenses were analyzed and determined, the following assumptions, a 3% increase, 10%, so in medical benefits, 10%, and added to dental benefits. Dental benefits is nothing really, so like the 10% to the
And those are the numbers that came from outside, right?
yeah.
We haven't got final numbers from the healthcare.
That's what we did last year, is
So
10%,
this is why I said, sorry,
and we ended up with a 9% increase
Okay,
last year, so.
so this is just
for this year.
Oh, we're gonna have it for this year, for next year, we don't know.
2025, we budgeted for a 10% increase and it ended up being 9%.
When do those, when will I know those?
October-ish.
Okay.
So
It's partly due to enrollment period.
But
So
we,
won't really have the final numbers, I think, until November.
hopefully have, money back. So what is that in dollar amounts? Cause this is where, like personnel account.
Dollar amount.
Yeah, so,
The increase or
yeah,
the
what you're
total?
seeing, the increase. So this is where I think it would be nice when you broke out personnel to have salaries, so you can see where the increases are.
Because you're trying to guess how much money we'll save, it's 9%, so.
No, I'm seeing it as a lever, like, okay, our benefits have gone up by 20%. Do we need to cut benefits? Do we need to find new vendors? Those are kind of decisions that we have to make based on the breakout of that.
Yeah, so salary is probably, I could ballpark it here, Jennifer is probably looking it up, so salary is about 10.5 million, parent retirement is about 1.8, healthcare is about 1.5 to 1.6, and then you have a slew of other things that wind up making the 14 million.
So when I'm looking at levers to pull, I'm like, hopefully levers that are like contracts or, not staff and that kind of thing. That's what.
Para, the state sets the amount, not us, we, the parents, and the state amount, they've really set it higher this year, so there's an increase.
So, I think that's when we see the budgets.
So you're wanting to know what the amount of the increases are?
At least what you're budgeting in the budget for each of those categories.
Yeah,
Does that
absolutely,
make sense?
probably give.
I mean, we really can't control para because that's just
No.
what para is. But like,
What's a 3% cost of salary?
So
it would probably
dental-
be, it'll be $400,000, I think.
Dental is
Or
28,000,
300.
assuming the same enrollment, people choose the same plan. I can't do
No,
anything
no,
better than that. These are employer costs. For medical, it's, let me see if I got it.
We don't need it now, just for the
Okay.
next meeting, just show us what we spent in 25 and what your budgeting for 26 is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so you want a budget comparison broke down by line?
Yes.
Okay.
And then would we know what changed in terms of the employees' cost? The insurance,
No.
coverage?
We don't know that until like November.
But we
We'll
will
pass
do-
on, they'll they'll
But this
pay
year,
whatever
though,
we
would
pay.
know.
We'll pay our
We pay
percentage,
80%.
We pay 80.
for some things. It breaks
Yeah.
down by FTE and plan. It's not straight 80.
Oh yeah, for the standard plan, we
Yeah.
promise to pay 80% of the cost. And so they have to pick up the other. So if it's $1,000
If
increase,
there's a 10% increase, they get, their portion goes up 10% as well. So I'm only accounting for the 10% that the employer
correct,
will pay.
yeah.
We're not necessarily covering the cost increases for the employee.
No, we're not.
No.
If the plan is $1,000, we pay 800.
Yep.
And they pay, or 200. But I think that's where breaking that down, and then, the purchase services, breaking that down between years. Because percents doesn't tell me a ton, sorry.
Well, and it sounds like you want to see programs and events broken out as well, if we're gonna discuss individual program line items.
So how would you
I
want
wouldn't wanna
that?
do that, no.
Is it this, I mean, like some of that's already broken out, it's just broken out here instead of here, right? Like that's pretty close to the table on page 27.
I'm not sure what you're looking at comparing.
Well, so like the makerspace, when you say the $35,000 non-personal cost for the makerspace,
Yeah.
that's part of that 347,500 line item in the budget, right?
Yes.
So programs and events could be broken out to show basically these costs, the per program costs under there, yes.
Yes. I could do personnel and non-personnel by the department.
Yeah, I mean,
Jennifer could do anything you want, honestly.
yeah, I think,
I think we have to understand why it is we want it.
yes, I agree.
Because the reality is that the budget is flat. We are recommending a 3% cost increase, pay increase for staff across the board, 3%. How it applies, I don't really know, but overall it's a 3% cost. Health insurance is gonna go up by 10%. Para went up also, right? So all these things are going up. So the manner in which we control inflation within a budget like this is everybody else gets pinched. You might have $50,000 for supplies. The supplies that you're buying for $50,000 this year cost the same year in and year out? No. We have to make adjustments in all of those different budgets because like the cost of things keeps going up.
Yeah.
This is true of like the book budget, which is like almost close to $2 million. Book prices go up, magazine prices go up, subscriptions go up, online books go up. We control the cost, like the money we're not increasing that budget.
Right.
Next year. That budget is not going up. We're eating inflation in that budget, so the amount that we get for it will be that much less. That's to offset the fact that wages, I feel like, I haven't heard anybody say no. Wages need to go up. Wages have to go up a percentage, whatever it is. But I don't think you're gonna save a lot of money doing that. You're not gonna say like, are we gonna talk about giving 2.5% wage increases? Like, I don't know. Like, if that's what you wanna talk about, then tell us that and we'll go look at that and tell you what that costs. But we can't say, I don't think we're ready to say we're not gonna pay 80% of healthcare. If you don't wanna pay 80% of healthcare, then that would be a place where you probably save money. Healthcare costs are gonna go up. They're gonna go up next year too.
No, I just think,
Yeah, the only reason I raise this is if we wanna have discussions like we want one book, one Boulder in the budget, I think we do kind of need to see that line item. Because what that also is saying is like, we're basically now giving instruction on we want this much money for makerspace programs, we want this much money for one book, one Boulder, we want this much money for the theater program. If that's the level we're working at, we're gonna need to see that. Or we just say this is how much money we want for programs, and then we let David and them make those decisions. But I don't know that there's
I get what you're saying.
I don't know that we can have it both ways.
I think with one book, one Boulder is, I don't think we need to go in, that's just one program that I think.
There's always one program.
I know, but that's pretty community amazing, but like,
I mean, we could put it back in and we could suggest where we take that money from.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
And if they say it's the
That's what I'm saying.
makerspace, then we'll be back here going, well, no, the makerspace is also an important.
It could be that you don't have $200,000 in savings.
Yeah.
Savings.
That's
You have 160 instead.
Right.
That's one
Which,
easy solution,
Right.
I don't know how comfortable you are with that either, right? Like, 'cause again, I think Andy, from what I hear, he might see some more savings in land in the budget than 200,000. But we have to remember.
No, I think we do, or I do too, but we haven't got to that part.
Well, I mean, there's another, so we've got this issue, we're looking at that $30,000 for that one program in the budget we're about to approve. When we come back to the next budget, we're gonna be in this bigger conversation about IT. So the 3-year contract is up, we get to the next budget, right? And so there are a few things like that we may be in a whole different rethink, that we could find a lot of savings. We go into that budget round because we're not gonna operate in the same way because we've now stuck with the contract. I'm using that as an example. So there's some of this, Andy, is like, we're in this one-time kind of thing. So we're gonna micromanage, not the right term, but we're gonna look at things that have community impact, that have high visibility in the community. Say, oh, we need to keep them. We're gonna reduce hours in the makerspace, that would be the same kind of thing. There are other things that, as we move towards the next budget, are where are the big savings coming, and where are we making these shifts, like we just discussed, being able to bond, to deal with meadows. Like, I think we got bigger things in those rounds than we do in this budget. We just need to get through this.
Yeah, but that could go the other way as well, right? We could be back here next year, getting rid of the IT budget, realizing our IT costs have doubled, and now we're like, now we're $2 million in the hole instead of just $1 million. So like, yeah, I mean, yes, we can always hope that it gets better.
Well, I'm not even
But I
saying
think part of the goal.
I'm just saying, we know there are things that we're gonna be in negotiation.
Sure. But I would just be a little bit hesitant to assume that those negotiations are gonna lead to us being able to spend less money in those areas.
Yeah, I've looked at it a lot of different ways. I really we're not currently really happy with the contract that we have. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to save money. I would like to, I certainly hope I can. I certainly hope I can, but I can't. But if I knew I could, it would be in the budget. I don't know. I don't know that I can save money on that contract.
We don't know by cutting computers, and we already have, so this year, we redid the numbers with the added computers, and I think we ended up with a total cost this year of somewhere around $900,000. And then she reduced the number of computers, and we got this year's, or next year's budget down to $800,000. So we did shrink it some, but each computer costs like $200 a month in just maintenance fees.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are two things I agree with. One, I mean, I agree with what I think Andy is saying, which is that I don't actually want this board to get in the weeds on this. Like, I don't think that that is a good use of our time, because I think, like you said, there's almost anything in this budget, if we start to pull it apart, people are gonna have feelings about it. And I don't think we wanna do that. And I also think some of what I think Doug is saying is that it's really more about how it gets presented to the public. It's not about actually doing that. It's more about like having more details that will be explained to the public. It's easier to explain. Is that?
Well, I think also
you're
like,
talking about breaking these things out. You're talking about breaking them out so that people can see what it
yes,
looks like.
I mean, part of
It's
it is
more
so we can actually also make
Understand,
action,
yeah,
understand and
yeah,
make action
yeah.
items about it. Like, I think if we see a big year over year in X cost, maybe that's a program we need to look at, or a benefit that we need to look at to find ways to save, like.
So are you looking at for budget numbers or actuals?
Well, whatever the budget increase will tell us if there's a problem. I'm just looking at budget
And
numbers.
most of these things you're talking about, though, we've decreased.
I know that,
Okay.
but I just wanna see them compared year over year, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, for the big things, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And I think, and some of that really just has to do with clarity and transparency and all of that for the public, which is part of our job. But I don't want us to start down the rabbit hole of like,
No, I agree.
let's bring everything out so that we can start to pick it apart, because then it will take us the next
Boy,
6
yeah,
months
you're right.
to set a budget, and it's really not our job.
In the years of rich, we just said
Yes.
go for it.
Yeah.
But in the years of lean, we have to pick the bones.
And I do think that something like One Book One Boulder is a little bit different, because I do think that like optically, to say that we're gonna not do this thing that people love.
And that we've done it
is a little bit
for
different
a
than
long
like
time.
shaving money off of it.
Yeah.
So maybe, is there something we can get everybody to weigh in on? Like, is it,
Well,
hey, do you wanna see more than $200,000 in savings?
yeah, I was gonna say, let's maybe talk through some of the potential cuts that aren't in the budget. Sounds like the one cut that's currently in the budget that people would like to see removed is the One Book One Boulder. Were there any other current cuts that folks weren't comfortable with?
The security one's the big one, and how comfortable are you? We heard from 3 people at the retreat, they named buildings and said they don't think, like, so there's 4 of you that still haven't weighed in, is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah.
That's a $300,000.
I think it's the right call out, comfort.
That's 4 people.
So what we're really talking about here is there will no longer be security staff at the branches other than Nova. And we'll be reducing the hours in Maine.
Reducing the number of Maine, not the hours. We'll still have-
Reducing the number of guards.
Yeah.
But it does mean Reynolds Meadows has no security staff.
And I think there's a way to like explain that, like a lot of that was built up that was sort of reactive, right? And so we found over time that it's just not needed.
There's no incidents.
Right. I think that that's the way to kind of help people understand that it's not, everything should be the same as it is now.
And also, we had less staff at each of those libraries.
Right.
I mean, Meadows has like 4 librarians working at any one time. It's only, or 3 maybe, it's only like 3 times bigger than this room. And so you can like, there's like somebody sitting there and somebody sitting on the other side and they're like looking at each other, you know?
This was in our budget meeting, but David did confirm, we always have at least 2 staffers in every building at any time, so it's not like we're stranding anyone alone with this change.
I think what I will hear from the staff is that we don't value their safety, right? Like that will be a question that comes up, and I think that is something that will, or the public's safety, right? And we'll have to manage through that kind of conversation, right? It's very simple to look at it and say, like, we've had one incident in Georgia so far this year, we're paying $80,000 an incident. $80,000 would cost to have a guard there for one incident. In the case of Meadows, it's 12, so significantly more, but we're still talking about paying around $6,600 per incident to having a guard there. Does the presence of the guards deter activity that occurs there? The numbers weren't remarkably different. Celia pulled the numbers from pre-guards, the numbers there were not remarkably different, but it doesn't matter. It's one incident will make a difference in the public's mind. And we're going into this eyes wide open, that we're gonna have an incident. I guarantee it, there will be an incident in the library that causes us discomfort. And we will be back here saying, should we put $80,000 back into that, to have a guard at that building? That will happen. But I just need to know that we're all 100% on board. Because right now we're paying $80,000 or $6,000 an incident.
That $80,000 is 3 One Books, One Boulders, right? So what are we not doing with that $80,000? So yes, there's a risk here. We should all be ready to hear about it, but I'm comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable with it.
Do we do staff training on safety?
They
and all
have
that?
they have a
They
lot
have
of
that?
training and de-escalation, a lot of those things. And the staff take it all seriously. They take training on dealing with
Okay.
people of various
So
disorders.
Equipped. We value their safety.
Yeah.
Nadine, did you have thoughts on this topic?
I shared my thoughts when we were at the board retreat around the security guards. I think that overall, we're good to reduce, and I think that if like there's an incident happens, I think we can always add people back in, but I think that at this point, I would reduce guards.
So I think this is it. So the only thing I think we were uncomfortable with was the One Book, One Boulder for 2027. other than that, I'd say, I think we're okay on these other reductions.
So,
So did you wanna look up the additional reductions?
No, I'm just on,
So that's the already in the budget reductions.
yeah, these are already in the budget.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going on to, step 4. And so, unless, Vinny, do you have any more
well,
comments on
I'm
that?
trying to figure out where step it fits in, but it's related to the board governance section, because that's my favorite section.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to add in the word board meeting food. So just in board food.
Oh,
And there, but I wonder, so that reduction by 1,000 is like, okay, but I really think like board membership and travel should stay at 2K, like that is not that much. And it's expensive to, you know, I mean, I was just one person going to CalCon and it was like $400, you know, hotel, car,
Right.
one meal, you know, plus, you know, conference registration, all that. So that was like, that's half of, you know, it's about $500. So if 3 of us had done that, you know, next year, that would not be the case. So I mean, I don't think 2,000 is that big of a number to keep in there, and reducing it by 1,000 doesn't really seem much. And I think this board, you know, with schedules and stuff, wants to be engaged and, you know, be educated and informed of other issues of libraries. So I don't, you know, I don't think it sends a positive message to not have one. Okay.
I'm okay, I mean, $1,000.
I mean, it's $1,000.
Okay, that was a big argument for 1,000, all right. Okay,
So just the membership and travel,
Yeah,
yeah, and then board meeting,
yeah, that's just how we have it labeled in
I
the
know.
system, I can change it.
yeah,
it's okay.
okay, and,
And we have to thank Kim, right, for his contribution.
yeah, thank you, Ken.
I've got one more question. On the marketing piece here, I remember at the retreat, we were talking about what the cost would be for the website. Sorry if I missed this or don't see it in here, but did we ever land on like what the cost would be for the new website? Or I know we were looking at vendors, and is that what that 180,000 would be, or just help remind me?
That's the operating budget, that is not that project.
And so that new project, that's not baked in here?
It's not,
Okay.
It is on the list of one-time things we
Yes.
are budgeting
Did.
for.
Sorry if I missed that. Where is that? Can you just help me on the page?
So we don't have a number, but on page 24, there's a list of one-time expenses. But Jennifer, you'd have to tell us what line item that actually winds up in the actual budget.
if I can figure that out.
I see a website and event calendar modernization project, and then,
So it's in the budget, we'll have to find out where.
And we ballparked, I think, maybe about $200,000 for the website and the calendar.
okay. Okay, got it. I just didn't see it, but I trust that it's in there, Jennifer.
It might be in the purchase services.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think we're gonna break out purchase services, I think, next, that's gonna be such a huge thing.
Yeah, I just don't see it. So I don't know if you need it in there or not, but maybe my eyes are crossed at this point of the day, but anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just the budget doc is not at a level of detail that's showing individual line items like that.
Okay.
So we just need to know which of these buckets of money that is actually included. But you're right, it's not just, we do not have a line item specifically for that displayed.
Got it.
Okay, so operating costs, so we asked for up to another $1 million in savings of where we could cut. And these are the à la carte menu that we have. So foundation health, is it 75 plus 225?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that same thing.
No,
So
Okay,
it's
you
it's
either
either
cut
75
75 or you cut the whole thing for
Okay.
245,
225.
225.
And you did have usage numbers for this as well, they were on page 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is the lifestyle spending account? We have 160 employees times 300.
You really don't want to use it?
Just doing my math. 160 times 300.
It's a matter of.
48,000,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
that's right.
And does everyone use that? Do you have to apply for that or is it just automatically?
It's automatic and
So
most people do use it.
Does it roll over or no?
For a short period of time, there's a grace period.
Okay, so they can use it
But if
for-
they don't use it, eventually we do get that credited back.
So cutting that seems less appealing to me because it's effectively part of their comp package.
Yeah.
The foundation health, at least for the dependents, so it looks like we currently have year-to-date usage for the dependents is 76. If we forward project that to the end of the year, it gets us to 114 total. That still breaks out to we're spending $700 per person per visit. Which at that point, I mean, I would almost go like take half that money, put it in a fund, and we'll just give people $250 anytime they need to go, and we'd still save half that money. And pragmatically, we may not be able to do that, but I do think it's the kind of thing where I don't know, like $700 per visit seems a little high to me.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to know how that affects overall, like if that means less use of health insurance otherwise, or if there's a way that balances out. I don't think there's any way for us to know that.
That was the hope originally, was that this would drive down health
That's usually
insurance
why you
costs,
have
right?
programs.
Yeah, but I don't think there's.
Even the 651 is $345 a visit.
The idea was that, it would offset our increasing health costs, obviously our healthcare costs are increasing. So it didn't have the effect that we hoped. We have pushed enrollment heavily, we've tried a lot to push enrollment, I mean, are we close to 50%? I mean, that was our, we wanted to be at 50% by the end of the year, we're not there, but, you know, it's like, I've talked to a number of people who use it, they love the service. I used it, I won't go back, it wasn't for me, it suits some people, it doesn't suit others.
So that 651 total visits is a mix of employee and.
Yeah.
Okay, so my per visit math is actually wrong then.
I think when we did this, it was a trial. It's now gone on for 2 years, right? And we still are only left year and a half. My thing is, I was thinking first to just cut the kids. Sorry, kids. I don't mean it like that.
Dependents aren't.
Dependents, sorry.
Just
Strike that.
don't frame it that way.
Non-employees. My thing would be, I think we get rid of it. I maybe we can replace it with something else. We keep the personal benefits, but it's a lot of money for a not, even at 600, it's still $350 a visit that we're paying Foundation Health Clinic at 651 visits. So a regular doctor visit is
That's
like
not, we're not
200.
through the end of the year yet, so it's a little bit better than that, but it's still expensive.
It's 300. It's basically, we're full price paying. Most people are using their insurance benefits.
And we don't have any evidence that it's affected our original goal, which was that it would decrease our insurance costs.
Well, now if we have 9%
Right.
year over year.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that 9% would be if we're lucky.
I vote for
There's a lot of crazy things going on with insurance, so
Yeah.
I hope it's 9%. Yeah.
I mean, just given the fact that, hiring freezes, layoffs, cuts, and it's a good thing that we're not in that place, as an institution, but I think that,
It's gonna affect us.
we've gotta be, strategic and thoughtful about this.
And it rolls over year, so
Yeah.
that's ongoing savings. I think probably, it looks like we got very high usage of the personal care thing. And the
Which is generous too, I mean.
lifestyle spending account. And like that's almost 100% use, whereas sorry. Oh, I thought there was a dog outside.
Thought we'd be evening.
So is there, like, can we just, I don't know, nod or raise our hands, like, are we okay? You can tell me if you object highly, otherwise it'll be a 7-0 vote. If you object highly to,
So
you can also object to how.
you're eliminating an alternate
Eliminating
Yeah.
foundation health.
Decline,
Yeah.
for 225 and savings.
Yes. And I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Tom, did you vote?
This isn't an official vote, it's just a.
Right, this gets us to the next version of
Right.
the draft.
Yeah. And then, the tuition reimbursement, it sounds like we barely are spending any.
And that's so small, I would just keep it.
Yeah, I think we keep that,
And it might not get used. Right.
yeah. I think you have to be here in years.
Students,
Yeah,
We have to
it's
sell
only
people.
been used to that degree. I think we had budgeted this year much more.
But this is available for use,
fair?
but it's not, it may not.
It may not.
Is it fairly allocated or accessible to
I think
employers?
everyone who applies to this.
Yeah, so far, but it's only been like 2 or 3
I
people
was
a
gonna say it's a
year.
very small number of people, yeah.
It
Again,
has
at
to be-
$8,000, I would just keep it, but it doesn't sound like a lot of people are using it.
I mean, what my company
That's
does,
incredible.
my company does is like, they just have a pot of money and they approve however many people for it and break it up against, so, but I mean, it's 8,000, so I'm not
Your
gonna.
company is a Fortune 500.
Yeah.
Fortune 100, what is it now?
But do the same people
I'm just saying how
participate?
they're cheaper than we are, I think.
I don't know.
No, they're not, they're great benevolent people, sorry.
My question was, do the people who are getting the tuition reimbursement, is that just they can apply every year and they're the only users of this and other people?
That could be the case. I don't know if it is.
Other people could apply, it's just they might be the only two who are applying. Is the point.
And when we run out of funds, we run out of funds.
Yeah, I'm okay with keeping it.
That sound privileged? I mean, it's like there are people who.
Well, no, I
Yeah,
think it's
like-
available, it's just
It's
there's
been
only 2
available,
people.
it's just
Yeah.
who's taking advantage of this program,
Yeah.
right? So they changed it to, what the note says is that it used to be more money. They've aligned it to the number of the amount that's actually being used. I think if this year there's like 30 people applying for tuition and we're not funding it, we can have this discussion again.
Yeah, if the usage went way up, it would probably be worth digging into the equity numbers.
But
At
like
this
right now,
small of
it's,
people, I think
yeah.
it's a footnote.
Okay.
In terms of individual programs and services, I mean, to David's point, like, I don't think any of anyone's talking about wholesale cutting any of this. I think it's a question of, if anything, we would say we wanna maybe spend this down. I don't necessarily feel the need to do that with anything right now, but I will say in the back of my head, longer term, the theater program for me is probably something we're gonna need to start to think about.
Wait.
What are you talking
You
about?
moved on too
You
quickly.
jumped on.
Oh, it's the next page.
No, but we're still on,
Contract
lifestyle,
services?
I just wanna ask you,
Okay.
I'm asking about each individual thing. Is there,
But we heard what you were saying, Andy.
That's
Yes,
fine, we'll come back.
Yeah.
I didn't
Please
jump ahead,
hold
I'm
that.
sorry, I thought we'd gone through.
the lifestyle spending account, I think there was a consensus to keep that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, sorry. Now, but we have to go to.
That's true, I skipped a page.
You skipped a page. Eliminating custodial, pass-through benefits costs, 44,000,
44,000.
sorry.
So we'd also talked about bringing custodial in-house, is that,
We'll do that plan next year.
okay, because of, that's when the contract's up?
No,
We
we're
put
gonna
it
go
out to
off,
bid this year.
yes.
No, the recommendation here is that we change the request for proposals to eliminate this potential benefit, custodial contractor benefit costs. So that is the proposal that we're putting in front of you. It isn't costly. We don't control, it may have currently 2 in place to use these benefits, 44,000. If they, the way the contract is written, I think if they were to have 5, the contract is that we would pay, so the money would go up
another reason why it seems, I don't know how sustainable this is to have us pay contractors who doesn't pay benefits to their employee. We pay the cost for them to cover their employees' benefits. And that's why we run on the list.
So the current custodial contract will be the contract we're paying for 2026. And
No,
we go up
we
for
go out
bid
for, we go out for RFP in October. We'll be going out for,
October of this year.
yeah, this year. We do it every year, I think,
So this is really just how we write the
Every 3
RFP.
years.
every 3 years.
And one of the things we'll consider is not just other RFP proposals, it would be bringing it in-house.
Not this year.
Not for 2026. In 2026, we'll do the analysis. I think,
Okay, so we're at least a year out.
yeah, we're here. 2027, you can make that decision.
Our proposal was for security and custodial, that we put out the RFPs and request bids at market value rather than at our minimum wage and including benefits, and see what we get.
And these would be contracts for 1 year, or we have to decide?
They're for 1 year, but they can be renewed up to 2 more times.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like we don't have to make this decision now. We need to see how the RFPs come back, right?
well, I think they wanna build it into the budget for it to present next.
We won't actually award a contract until probably December, before your budget.
My thing would be that we would, I know this is cruel, but I just think we don't pay it for the guards. I would say we would cut this fund.
I agree.
So the RFPs we're putting out already assumes that we're not paying them our minimum wage anymore either?
That was what our proposal was to.
So the budget as written now assumes we're gonna get bids back that do not include the library minimum wage.
No, it assumes our minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is
That's how it's
a,
calculated.
This is in addition to that, this is.
yeah. I mean, this is why I think we need to bring it in-house ultimately, but if we're gonna have that discussion a year from now, I would keep it as is for now, which means keep the 44 in. I mean, it basically means we have 2 janitors that we're basically gonna tell them their benefits just decreased for the next year.
I'm really uncomfortable with that.
No, we may not award the contract to that company.
Question for you, we're paying, a bit of catch up here, just mental math. We're paying a markup though, I would imagine with the contracting service, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct. It's probably somewhere.
Like 17%, or what would you imagine it is?
They get paid to 22, or currently they get paid to 22.
45.
22.45 an hour, that we have, plus then the premium is about $12, I think, over that we pay. So it's more identifiable with the security contract, because we pay by the hour, the cleaning we pay for a job to do. Actually, control how many people they have.
Could we do it month by month? Does it have to be like a full year of the RFP? Like, could we do it month by month basis and try to bring this in-house sooner?
We'd have to,
Or do it 6 months?
I
And
have to do it by January. We have talked about it already, like, it's some work to plan for logistics and do the analysis about turnover ratios and that kind of thing, and the proposal that we have on the table is not, we're not creating a night cleaning crew, we're looking at the ways in which a day port adding FTEs for day ports, and then mid-year we would be adding FTEs to the day porter staff in order to offset the need for after hours cleaning, and we would have a smaller crew that did after hours cleaning and take us out.
And we would pay our employees minimum wage.
And we would pay our employees minimum wage.
And benefits,
And
and
the benefit,
para.
right, if we bring this in-house, all of these people get what we're currently paying, but to Nadine's point, we're paying markup on it today, so.
Yeah, we pay overhead on all of the contract services, finance, for
So I guess
IT, for
I still don't understand what this $44,000 represents then.
the benefits package for that.
So if we take this out, what changes with the RFP process?
The RFP, we don't offer the work, we would pay benefits. As is right now, we put out the RFP that stipulates the minimum wage. And also that we would pay benefits in the cleaning contract for those people. Right now, 2 people take Advantage of the benefits, 44,000 is intended to cover that cost. If a different company got the bid and suddenly there were 7 employees on benefits, this dollar amount would be higher than that. And so, again, like, we're
And
putting
when
an RFP that says.
we consider the RFPs, will we know whether those companies would pay benefits if we didn't?
We can ask that question, I think, in the request, if they pay benefits, they have benefits for their staff. And that can be a consideration in terms of how you award the contract. And you award the contract to some company that's gonna bid on it.
Well, we'll make the recommendation, they won't go through the RFPs and pick the contract, we would do that.
I mean, I still think we have to kind of wait on this. I mean, I'm fine with taking this out if we want to write the RFPs that way, but if all the RFPs come back and they're like, we're not paying for any benefits for any of these folks, I think we're gonna be right back here deciding if we want our janitors to have health insurance or not.
I'd say how about we write the RFPs so that they don't have to or they can, and then we can analyze the cost difference based on that. And then you can bring it back to us, but we would, at least right now, plan on not offering the 44K.
I agree.
I'm fine with that, but I do think we're gonna wanna know if we're selecting a contractor that isn't providing any benefits.
Okay, so you got the right.
Do you mean provide them so the employee pays for them, or do you mean the employer, the contractor pays for them?
And just
Because they'll ask that question.
what I really mean is a benefits package comparable to what the library is providing their staff.
I'm gonna
It's
say
gonna be
no
no.
to everybody.
Yeah.
But if they're
no.
offered benefits out of their salary, I think that's,
They're, like our security officers, they're eligible to purchase their benefits.
Yeah.
They're offered, but they don't, the company does not pay them.
any of it.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah.
But your compensation could include, a certain portion for
Yeah.
your benefits that you would buy on the free market, right? And healthcare.
And none of our janitorial staff's not unionized or anything like that.
No, our staff
And our
and
regular
contractor,
staff
they're
is,
different.
yeah, but like our
These are not
our
our
contractors,
janitors, they're
right.
contractors.
but they don't have their own union or anything like that.
Because usually when I do when I hire contractors at work, like there's a markup rate that I'm looking at, and then through the contract agency, like that contractor has the choice to buy benefits or not. It's up to them. They see the wage that I am paying, whether it be, let's say, $25 an hour or whatever it is. And if they choose to accept that wage, they can then purchase the benefits on top of it or not. Sometimes I can throw in additional money so that essentially like I'm paying for their benefit, or I can choose not to, and then they have to take their money and buy out of pocket. So in this scenario, I would imagine in your RFP, you're saying like, we are not throwing in the additional money to pay for it, which I don't think we should. They would just have to make that decision if they want it or not, right?
That's correct.
That's pretty
So
expensive.
we are saying no, so if you want to take if you want to buy it, then you buy it.
The benefits pack, that's 22,000 is, I think that's more than what we pay for employee. I don't know.
I mean, I can live with it not being in the RFP. I have significant concerns about us taking our most vulnerable affected employees and
I don't pay for it for contractors at work.
they're
Why
not,
not?
but they probably should be.
Yeah.
But that's the next discussion.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Have we had turnover in the maintenance company?
I don't know.
These
I
employees
don't
been,
manage it, I don't see them, I don't know the answer to that.
well, I mean, in
It's
terms
been
of
around
the company where we're gonna contract, this is,
The
has been the same
critical-
company for a number of years?
Yeah, the
Yes.
city uses them, and we carried on with them,
City use.
yes.
Does the city pay their benefits, you know?
I don't know.
Doubt that.
And here we are.
I'm fine to look at the bids and we can make a decision then.
Okay.
I mean, we can always add it back in.
Okay.
22 person.
All right. I mean, for me, it's like this or a program.
Yeah, I think what we mainly don't wanna do is yank benefits away for a bunch of folks that we're gonna turn around and try to hire as employees 6 months down the road.
Yeah, okay, I get it. We'll take a look at it. All right. The Virgin Early Literacy Project funding, 100K. But this is based on a grant from the Library Foundation of $100K.
We're asking for a match from the
A
foundation.
match. So if we don't get the match, we're not gonna do it.
Is that what we're doing, Chris? I don't
Well, we're in our own fundraising and budgeting period for our annual grant process where you all submit your requests August 15th and then by next February, our board decides what to do about the request. So you've requested that as part of about a $260,000, which includes the second year of Boulder rights that we've committed to. So out of your 260,000, we've already said yes to the 100 that is Boulder rights. And then the question is, of the 160, there's a $100,000 chunk there. You're asking for that match.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't you say something about your fundraising for this project anyway separately?
Right.
So,
And that's part of a longer campaign than this window of several months, which we'll talk about tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, I've got a plan to meet that. And it depends on us succeeding in the plan as far as the fundraising goes. But the draft, the budget that I've drafted and that we'll work through and approve in final form in November would include fully funding your request
for the match.
for the match.
Okay.
Or if we pulled it out and we didn't request it, then it would be on the list for fundraising as a special project. Is that how I understand it? No?
Well, then we can always adjust the budget if they got the funding and put $100,000 back in.
Yeah, there's an extra layer of complication here, given that for the first time ever, you're asking us for a grant as part of an annual request. If you decided you're gonna not have the money that you need to do the project that you're requesting a grant for, that'll weigh heavily on our decision whether to award you, half of the budget you need for a project that then won't happen.
Right.
Then we would probably rather see a replacement request for that money to fund something else that's interesting to the funding community. Obviously, I mean, that's a losing proposition to tell our donors, we're giving them half a project, a bridge to nowhere.
No, I mean, if it
Chris
was, then we would rescind that request.
Right.
Is this on here because we had a donor that's interested in giving the money but only politely
No.
matches it?
No, this is your annual request, and the way that works is, and it's generally been about 250,000. Our hope is to, incrementally grow it. So, this is saying, in this case, the library is saying, if you give us, as part of our annual request, this $100,000 chunk, we will match it. Now, you're talking about short circuiting that request, basically, if you pull your half of that project off the table.
It's on the list because the staff requested it as a budget out of the 2026 budget.
Okay. This is a new project. Staff wants.
I then approached Chris and said, we're not gonna be able to afford to do this. Would you go in now to ask for it? And so it was consideration. It's a consideration. So the other option would have been we let them ask for money because I haven't heard from the boards but we're just putting it off, right? The children's area needs a refresh. It definitely needs a refresh.
I'd say it's 50 cents for every dollar. It's a half price thing, so I would keep it and
it sounds like
challenge Chris to go find the money and then we'll fund it.
It sounds like the time we'll really have this discussion is when we submit next year's requests.
It's already in the
From
budget.
the DLA.
This is
We've
the
already
savings.
submitted them.
We submitted the request much earlier than but you guys actually reviewed them, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, if they don't raise the money, we're probably not gonna spend 100,000, it'll roll over into savings. If we take the 100,000 out of here, it seriously
It's 100,000.
crimps their ability
I think
to raise the other 100,000.
But what we would need to do is be flexible with you to figure out a way for you to replace that request with something else that is more exciting than
A children's
a
play.
project that's dead on arrival.
No, I wanna,
No, I think we
let's,
keep it.
let's, I'd say we keep the 100K.
Doesn't sound like an dissent.
Main library first floor. Like, I don't think you're gonna be executing that project, cause you haven't even done the second floor. But, my 2 cents would be push it, but what do you guys think?
What is this for? This is planning for what?
Redesign.
Redesign.
That building.
Mainly the stacks, yeah.
Not to do the construction, just to do the
It's a
architecture concept plans.
We don't know when we would have the money to do the construction.
Correct.
I agree either way on this.
We'd just be pushing it back, right? It's not like we're axing the idea altogether, it's just, right?
We
Just be
go back in
holding on.
2028 or something like that, same thing,
And
and
the-
concept plan that.
It's a little bit of a risk if we did it next year and then we didn't fund it for 2 years, it might.
The plan might not be
Sure.
relevant.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I would lean a little towards saving this until we have a clear vision on when we actually are gonna be able to do it.
And we'll have a,
And maybe we own the building.
maybe it's another, feather in our cap to talk to the city.
Right.
When they were here, it seemed like, well, we didn't have some other people, but it seemed like they were. Okay, computers.
Is this on top of an existing reduction, David, or is this, okay, this would be the only reduction?
Cut it by a
But
third.
we did reduce some for program.
Oh, yeah, we did reduce the number of computers, which will result.
These are public.
The reduction of the contract that we have with outside services, but this is the public computer.
And this is across the board, all libraries?
Yes.
Amy has done, Amy Shulman of IT has done some analysis of the number of computers that everybody has on top of it. We haven't done the work with the branch. My feeling is we haven't done the work with the branches to sit down with the managers and say like, do you think this is a good idea? Which actually, the proposal came like, this is one of the post-August retreat proposals. I think it's probably going in the right direction. I feel a little hesitant to say.
Well, why don't you come back in October and tell us, do the work between here and tell us, because
So what this
we can give you
represents,
cut or don't cut, but
what this represents is Novo and Gun Barrel are running on only 3 public computers. And what this represents is reducing Reynolds and Meadows down to the same number of computers.
That
So
seems.
not even touching Maine at the moment.
Does not include laptops, we check out,
I think there's like 6.
she doesn't mention anything for me.
This is a way bigger discussion. I think I've said before, like, public computing was like, the 20th century was libraries made one of their major accomplishments. The usage rates are in a free fall. And not that we really pay attention to how, or what people are doing on the computers, but we have pretty heavy duty computers that have a lot of different software on them, productivity software, Adobe Creative Suite, all these different things. People are playing video games, watching movies, and TikTok videos. The amount of work that is going on in terms of productivity and that kind of stuff is pretty minimal. 20 years ago, libraries like us would have been training 100 people a week on how to use Microsoft Office, right? So it is a very different calculation. I don't want it to be judgy. It's not our position to say like watching videos or TikTok videos, but we could probably do it with tablets that cost $125. Don't ding our contract with the outside consultant, and it's like, watch whatever videos you want, and here, go sit down with it somewhere, and it's a lot less money. That's probably something that we're gonna have to work through in the 2026 strategic plan, is like, what does public computing look like now? And there is a need, there is a digital divide. The digital divide is just, it used to be like this wide and tons of people on each side. Now it's this wide and 95% of the public is on one side of it and 5% is on the other.
So
it's
you're asking, do you want us to make a decision on cutting $43,740 tonight?
It does include a 4-computer cut at main library,
I mean,
from 11 to 7 computers.
It sounds like we could also give you the direction that we're fine with you starting to reduce the number of computers, leave this in the budget as is, and hopefully realize some savings by the end of the year because
That's
we're
kind of what I'm looking for.
Okay,
Let's do that.
Yep.
all right. I mean, you could replace them with tablets, get the same amount of.
But yeah,
space.
like figure out what you wanna do.
Yeah,
and
there's just
maybe
no
we'll
work
get
to be
some
done here,
savings
so
out of
let's,
it.
Yeah,
But leave it in the budget.
now we're on page 27. So, if I do my calculations right, we saved 300 potentially and 50,000 of your $547,000.
So we're up to roughly $500,000 in surplus next year.
A little over.
Yeah. And that's without touching any of the programs.
Okay, so now we're going into the meat and potatoes of, I don't think we're asking to like cut any of these things or whatever now. I think, what do you want to hear from us, or what is?
Well, Andy started, I mean, Andy,
Okay, yeah.
that's very like what.
Yeah, I mean, what I was basically gonna say is, yeah, I agree. I don't think we need to cut anything right now. I would be curious to start to think about what the long-term goal for the theater program is. And to a lesser extent, the cafe, I mean, I think the cafe is great. If there's a path to the cafe becoming profit neutral, like that would be a revenue neutral, that would be fantastic. Maybe there may not be a path there. But I think both that and the theater program are the ones I look at as like, not that we would necessarily cut them, but there might be ways to monetize them and offset some of that cost. But I don't know, I think everything else here, I mean, eventually I'd love to find ways to have more makerspace classes and stuff like that, but I think that's gonna be a year where we have extra budget perhaps.
I agree. I don't think we want to touch it.
Yeah, I think, my thing is like, I think during the day, the Canyon Theater doesn't get used a lot. Is there a way to move around? I mean, it is, people have booked it, but there's like 6 people in there. Is there a way to change it to more evening hours and close during the day? I don't know if that's a savings or not. But that kind of stuff, I think. The other thing is teen services and I definitely think we need to have teen programs and teen librarians. And I think the way we're doing teen services is not attracting teens. So is it through engaging for like, hey, a college, your college is coming up, high schoolers, do a program that, you create a program, is there stuff like that we can help kids build their college resumes by doing leadership exercises or that kind of stuff. I think that's probably a better way to, or, service projects, like a better way to engage teens than roadblocks and snacks. That's just my thing. I don't know if there's any savings there, but that's just my.
No, if you wanna have librarians, that's what that.
Yeah, that's all personnel.
That's two
But-
people.
Yeah,
But it is a good discussion.
but is it in that program or is it in outreach or something? You see what I'm saying? I don't, is it a separate room where we just sit and wait for teens to hopefully show up, or is it something else?
It was an identified target audience for us. I don't know that we're making major strides. I don't know if the room is an impediment. There's a lot of things we don't know. But it is a big important demographic, right? I think the library, in my experience, we have the lowest utilization among teens of any community I've ever worked in. I don't know the answer to why. If I knew the answer to why, we would have fixed it. But I think it's probably something that I'm glad you're bringing it up. But I think probably in the 2026 strategy, when we do talk about targeting, obviously seniors was not in the 2018 plan. We need them, obviously. But I think there's also room for us to talk about, like, what is the future of teen, tween, youth services as the community ages, what are we doing?
Right, those two.
I mean, there's a big conversation to be had about that age group and where we are in the country right now, and the sort of isolation that came out of the pandemic and all. I mean, it's a big thing, and it's not as simple as whether we have a room.
Yeah,
And
that's
I do think, I think this is where you were trying to go, Doug, this is a bigger conversation. It's a significant part of the community. Is there a role for us to do more? If so, what's the biggest part of that role? What are we trying to solve, whether they're served? And so the isolation thing it's a real thing. It's, you know, I'll tell just a quick story. I teach the New Orleans scholars every year. I'm a guest lecturer. Last year when I went in, Jim Walker said to me, like, do the introduction and then hit the gas pedal. He said, just don't stop. And so that was kind of how I taught them. And afterwards I said, why? What was it? He said, if you had paused and kind of let it go, you would have lost them. Even though they don't have a device, like trying to keep their attention. And it's kind of everywhere out there with teens. So.
Yeah, I think there's a way there. I don't know if it's city savings, unfortunately, but just something that.
Ready to spend more money.
Well,
I think you're right.
Or maybe you put it in different areas.
But it's like it's a bigger conversation.
Yeah, it's a bigger conversation.
I think this bucket is all stuff that's part of the strategic plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like how we allocate money and what we want to prioritize and all that, I think that's what this list is. And there's something to do about it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other is like, you know, in the canyon, if, you know, it's mainly like folks watching movies in there. Yeah, I don't know.
Where?
You know, during the day, they're having theater shows and stuff like that. You know, is there a self-play option? And we have staff at night, you know, to keep it open. If you're just watching a movie, to hit play on the thing, if we need a staff member there. Those are kind of things.
No, the prime spots fill up very quickly.
Yeah.
Right, like we had, and again, the scalability of the program, I think is a reasonable question, is, you know, the prime spots are 2 late nights, evening hours, and they all filled up in a matter of hours when we opened it up for 6 months.
And how did Tina get 3?
Well, she's on city council.
Yeah, I don't know. She's about to hit submit 3 times
In any
fast.
case, like, we, you know, the pilot is wrapping up, another 5 months, 4 months, whatever. I think we probably need to set some different criteria, some of that will be discussion when we bring forward the theater use policy and, what best we're taking into account. So there will be opportunities to revisit this in the course of the year. I'm sure they have recommendations as well about how things might change, after now the pilot is, I mean, we know that there was demand. How scalable is it? Would 5 nights be better, or is 2 nights a sweet spot? I don't really know. So we don't have answers. I think we probably need to have an idea of where we're going next year with the program, but I hear you, and I think they are also aware of it. Attendance is low during the day.
And the same with the makerspace. I mean, the 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. slots are pretty open. The 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. You have to like make sure you hit submit at the like day that at midnight, you know, to get those to last. So, you know, if you're opening 1, you know, you have you switch around those hours. I know that's staff burden and all that stuff too. I don't know.
Doug, how much more time do we need here tonight?
We're almost done. Sorry.
Well, I thank you all for that conversation. We needed to have.
No, I know, and I just wondered, are we going to postpone other reports?
No, we're almost done. Like, I think we have 15 minutes. So that wraps up our budget discussion. Sorry.
Doug?
Yes.
Before you move on, could you entertain a motion to schedule the public hearing on the budget for November 18th? And authorize a notice that the A draft budget will be available on whatever date works for Jennifer and David, anytime before October 18th.
Yeah, that's fine.
I won't be able to get to this until next week.
No, I
You
think,
know,
but
you
we'll
see-
just say, you gotta submit it to us by October 15th, so
Yeah.
we'll say on or by October 15th.
Oh.
You'll submit it.
Yeah.
So the motion is, we're gonna schedule the public hearing on November 18th for the public to comment on our budget, and we will post the budget for public viewing on or before October 15th. I'll move that.
Did that give us enough time for the 30 days?
Yeah,
October 15th and November.
Well, but it doesn't, because now we're noticing it today, which actually means that we're noticing it 60 days in
Oh,
advance.
wait,
That's the
yeah,
point.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's why everyone
Well,
keeps asking to do that, as I understand this.
Can I get you seconded, second?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay. And,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that reminder. Director's report?
Yeah, just a couple things. One of them is an annual event. We close the branches in the mornings for the program planning summit every year, October 22nd. The main library will remain open, but the branches will be closed as they come that summit. So that's October 22nd. The other one is, it is your responsibility. You have to approve the library closure dates. There on the following page, page 32. It did occur to me, because we are talking about money and benefits. You know, we have 13 paid holidays. That's 2 more than the city provided. That's 3 more than most library districts provide. So again, both, hey, here's the thing, and also applauding ourselves for providing a really good benefits package to staff. I think the staff sometimes just take it for granted, but it's like, I know a lot of library districts where it's 8 paid holidays, and I think we have significantly more than that. And that's due mainly to the largesse that the board has found to provide a benefits package which is attractive to people. In any case, the dates are there.
Do we always close 2 days for Independence Day, or is next year special?
For which day?
For Independence Day, is the library always closed for 2 days, or is next year special?
No, I think we close typically, that's interesting, right? So it's, we're observing on Friday, that makes it easier for us to schedule. Saturday, July 4th will be closed, we're closing Friday too.
So yeah, library's closed 2 days.
2 days, that's not.
Okay. So there's effectively an extra holiday this next year.
Well, it's not the same staff, so most staff do not want to pay Friday, so they'll adjust their schedules if they have.
Third is probably the federal holiday.
And I think some.
July 4th is.
I'm not
The
complaining, I
third
just
might be the
wondering.
federal holiday.
I think we should be open on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
I think it's something I talked about.
We did talk about that.
I think I think it's something we need to put to staff, like, I think we would move those days to like, maybe the day after Thanksgiving, and even that would be my thing, but not until next year, I think, talk to staff about it. See, I know we do already give a bunch of holidays, I wouldn't wanna take one away, but like, I think like presidents, either President's Day or Martin Luther King be open.
What we do at our firm for those two is you get to pick one.
Well, they also get choice days,
Oh, okay.
so.
Wow.
You get 2 more.
Oh, wow.
I think we
Okay.
have to trustees. We can bring that up, with HR to see if they want to pull staff for next year.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
and then,
But do you want to change the days now or without?
No, I think
Okay.
having a conversation about
Yeah.
is a good thing. And Juneteenth too is one of the, anyway,
yeah, I think,
and those days people want to go.
that's right.
Have
And
programming.
I've always brought my kids here and then go, oh, it's closed,
Yeah.
but, so that's the impetus, and do you move it to like the holiday weeks where we have a little visitation and a lot of people take off anyway, so then you don't have to find slips. You know what I mean?
Voters could have their.
Do we need a motion to approve this?
I think you do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the holiday schedule. Any opposed? Okay,
That's in the
All
matter.
in favor?
all in favor?
We're
Motion.
we're a few weeks away from the end row.
Yay. I don't think Doug's excited.
Any trustee matters that you're saying is not ready, right?
No, it's in progress.
Okay.
The draft is under review. And actually, well, for future discussion, let's not get into it tonight, but it'd be nice to kind of agree on a format when we do like special things like a letter, honoring and appreciating like someone, like, it'd be nice if we had some sort of format for the way that we did it.
Let's
We're
tell
doing a letter
To just be like
recognize,
a letter, or
just
like
to-
a
to
resolution,
acknowledge the death of
or,
Andrew
you see
Gibson.
what I'm saying, like, we don't really have, like, we're just
But we
kind
don't know
of
how-
writing
what to call
something at this point.
Is it resolution? Is it-
Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of need to at some point agree, like, how do we wanna, like, make this like a general way we would do this going forward.
I was thinking
Right now, we're
about,
treating it as like a resolution.
We're
so
treating it like
carries
a
some weight.
resolution, but it's not written like,
Yeah,
there are no,
acknowledging Andrew Gibson.
yeah, there's no like whereases or resolves or anything, it's just like we're calling it a
I was
resolution.
thinking I was thinking
Yeah.
about that when you
Yeah.
emailed me, and I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and my thing is like, we don't really have a policy on it either.
I know,
And so like, but they should have had a strong tie to the Boulder Public Library, and Andrea did.
yeah.
So I think that should be, something we think about.
Yeah, and
I-
everyone should think about it, like, if we want to honor people for whatever reason going
Right.
forward, what do we call that? Do we vote on it? Is it a letter? Does it go to
And-
someone? Is it just public? Something to think about.
And
Yeah,
this would
Nothing else that needs to be done on this tonight.
and this would also fit into like acknowledging the folks who have served on the board who are going off, like it'd be a nice way to be like putting something formally.
That certificate that I talked about, but I asked.
Exactly, yeah,
We'll
that
agree
could,
that staff could work on that.
That would be
could
part of
actually
that.
fit,
We
yeah,
have
this
that
could be
graphics
fit in that.
person that
Yeah.
could do that.
Chris has
Okay.
been patiently saying for about.
Chris,
Exactly.
the
We're
gala, sorry.
But wait a minute,
We're
I
so
do,
sorry.
Oh, wait, sorry.
which was that I attended the CalCon conference and there were at least 3 or 4 different topic areas with handouts and I sent those to Doug and David and maybe they could be shared with the whole board.
Would love to see.
Yeah,
Because I asked specifically for them to get.
I'll add them to
Yeah,
the
Because there's a,
trustees folder and email you guys all a link,
Awesome, great.
and,
yeah,
okay.
because there's
our-
one related to board evaluation, self-evaluation.
Oh, nice, okay.
Which is all done, which is a really nice product that I think we should just use it.
Nice.
Okay,
Big meeting, I'll keep it quick. 2 days till Shelby Van Pelt. We've got about 450 people we're expecting and excited that you're coming too. So hopefully it'll be our biggest, best gala. It'll be an incredible spectacle, the program, the decorations and the activities downstairs. And speaking of author talks, we just rounded out our pilot year with the partnership with Boulder Bookstore with Nathan Hale last week. He's a children's author. He had a packed house and they sold like 160 books at half price because we paid the other half. I think it's been a wildly successful pilot. When you talk about the cost of a one book, one Boulder, you're mainly talking about paying to bring an author in. When you partner with a bookstore and hit the publisher schedule, you're riding the wave of them, their publisher paying their way. And so in this environment where, we're still free and open to all and no tickets are charged, partnering with your foundation is a pretty cool way to get big acts. So we can kind of think of this pilot as possibly doing bigger, because Boulder Bookstore is gonna have the 500 draw author, just, we're going to be flexible about, okay, let's go, we've heard it, it's happening next month, so anyway, but that's been an exciting thing to see the public uptake.
I went to the
As author
David Barron.
Yeah, you were there.
I went to that one and it was great. I mean, it was mostly full and people were stoked about half price books.
Okay,
At least
good.
I was. I bought a couple books, but but I feel like people when they were leaving, they were all like, "Wait, all these books are like 50% off, and they're all signed." And
So
it's cool.
with Stephen Graham Jones, who also filled the theater, I mean, that's hundreds of people that have come at a grand total of maybe $5,000. The foundation's out on paying half of books, so it's a good formula. Anyway, see you Thursday.
Did you hear from Kim?
Kim? Nothing? All right, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Oh no, they're that age now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
We'll just send them there.
Yeah, like last year,
They won't
I
know what to
submitted
do
some
with it.
stuff
I know,
for like
enough for
before September 30th.
Get home and